Shoot happening Thursday, August 7th at Strathalbyn Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinals standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebs for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Don't wait. Sponsorships and shooter spots are going fast. Visit teamrwb.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who've served. 97.1 FM Talk, backing our veterans every step of the way.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. A big hurdle cleared for the president. I'm Lisa Brady. What the House called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act passes the U.S. Senate after a series of changes in a marathon session.
The massive tax and spending package passing by a thread, with Vice President Vance breaking the 50-50 tie.
The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
The budget reconciliation bill contains hundreds of billions of dollars for national and border security, trillions in tax cuts, and over $1 trillion in spending cuts over 10 years. Republicans argue the tax cuts will kickstart the economy, while Democrats believe Medicaid provisions will lead to millions losing health insurance. It's unclear if House Republicans have the votes to pass the bill, as some have concerns about Medicaid provisions or its impact on the deficit.
Fox's Ryan Schmel is on Capitol Hill. President Trump just telling reporters,
it's a great bill. There is something for everyone, and I think it's going to go very nicely in the House. Actually, I think it will be easier in the House than it was in the Senate.
The president also insisting Medicaid cuts will impact fewer people's health insurance than estimated and will target waste, fraud, and abuse. The House just setting debate and votes on the bill for tomorrow. The president's been touring a new migrant detention center in the Florida Everglades, calling it Alligator Alcatraz.
Very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation, and a lot of these people are self-deporting.
The facility will serve as a hub for processing and deportation. Environmental groups have sued, arguing the impact of construction wasn't properly evaluated. Homeland Security noting the land, which had an existing airport, has been developed for more than a decade. America is listening to Fox News.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
For the first afternoon of July, our weather is spectacular. Lots of sunshine, less humid. 87 for the high. These are bonus days in the summertime. Tonight, clear skies, spectacular evening. 67 for the overnight low. Wednesday, sunny and 89. The heat and humidity slowly build back on Thursday. It's hot and humid on the 4th of July. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Always first. Yes. And I think it's great government, what we've done. And nobody can ever forget what this group of people, Biden or whoever it was, because probably wasn't even Biden. I don't think he knew what the hell he was doing. But Biden, whoever it was, what this group of people, a small group that circled the Resolute desk, what they did to this country.
That is President Trump in Okeechobee. Is that how you say that? Florida. Right near Alcatraz. Alcatraz is, I don't know that they're going to break champagne over this thing today, but Air Force One landed on the airstrip there. It was an old airport, decades long in the Everglades, that is being transformed into a holding cell for people, essentially. I don't know that it's just detainees from illegal immigration. I think it's probably more multi-purpose than that, but it's certainly being featured mostly as a way to help in the deportation process. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. We're going to be speaking with Paul Perez. He's the president of the National Border Patrol Council. In, let's say, 15 minutes from right now, we're going to discuss with him the success that this president has had on the border so far, with Alcatraz being the latest installment in the effort to keep the people here who belong here, get rid of the people who have come here and are committing heinous crimes, get them the hell out of this country. So we'll talk to Paul Perez in about 15 minutes. At the top of the 1 o'clock hour, Harris Faulkner is going to join us. I think I'm going back and forth on topics, unless you booked her on a specific topic. Not whatever, news of the day.
News of the day.
Kind of want to talk about her, about Mamdani. He is officially, they had to do some specific recounts to make sure, but they just announced within the last hour that he is officially the Democratic nominee for mayor in New York City. And we've got some not so sweet treats of sound for you on Mamdani. Just like there's socialism, like, you know, wink, wink, nod, nod socialism. And then there's Mamdani. He's like, I'm a communist. I'd like to be the mayor of New York City. And a portion of New York City is like, okay, that's a problem. And Harris Faulkner, who works in New York City, I think I might talk to her about that. But basically what I want to know is, Harris Faulkner, should the people of St. Louis and Metro St. Louis care about a socialist being the mayor in New York City?
That's a good question.
I think the answer is yes.
Symbolically, yes. Directly, there are probably reasons why we even directly wouldn't want that, because of the trickle-down effect, you could say.
Well, anytime something like that happens, you modernize it, you mainstream it. It becomes a little more part of the conversation. Socialism and communism become a little more acceptable in discussion. Like, you know, people want to dip their toe in a little bleeding heart liberalism, cross it over into socialism, which crosses over into communism, and then what? Harris Faulkner with us at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. And then at 1:30, Link Lauren joins us once again. A friend I made while I was in Washington, D.C. at the White House has been on the show with us once before. His Spot On with Link Lauren podcast in Megyn Kelly's network is doing great, and we want to bring him back because he says things in incredibly fun ways to listen to. Just about anything. And, I really want to talk to him about the success of the Republican Party. Had a discussion with Hogan Gidley about this yesterday a little bit, but Donald Trump's impact on what Republicanism is, or also is perceived to be. What a gigantic influence that one man has had on this moment in history, and then, of course, into the future, because this party will be shaped by what is happening right now, in the same way that the party was shaped on John McCain. You could start with George W. Bush, then John McCain, then Mitt Romney. I mean, all three of those people, and I'm somebody who has a special place in my heart for George W. Bush. I was 17 when I saw the towers come down, and that instance and the way he handled that situation drew me in. There's a lot that has happened and developed since then, and I know a lot of people are a lot of places on George W. Bush. I don't have a show to talk about, like, the ins and outs of George W. Bush. I don't know that merit is warranted. But the snap reaction that the electorate had towards George W. Bush, what we did in the Middle East, weapons of mass destruction, which people are obviously reflexively very sensitive to right now in the wake of President Trump's strike on Iran. This is so much different than that. John McCain, Mitt Romney. Look at some of the people. Look in the 2016 primary. Who were the heirs apparent? Jeb! Exclamation point. Please.
Jeb. Like Gutfeld.
Clap. Yeah.
Please clap.
Yeah, but one of those is ironic. One of those is for humor. And it works. If you stop for a minute and think about the word Republican, like just pause for a second. There are a lot of people. You're probably one of them who has a hesitancy in referring to yourself as a Republican. You want to qualify it. You want to say, I'm fill in the blank kind of Republican. There's a way, or you say, I'm not a Republican, I'm a conservative. Why is that? Well, it's because of the John McCains and the Mitt Romneys of the world. It's the Jeb Bushes of the world. It's the Chris Christies of the world. Freaking John Kasich in my news alert this morning, in my email, and I was like, you know those memes where it's like something happens, absolutely no one? John Kasich down there. I was like, who asked you? Where you been, Fruit Ninja Hands? I don't know why John Kasich, nobody's asking what John Kasich thinks about anything right now. And even if he were saying something super flattering, I'd be like, John Kasich, you had zero support in the primary and you just stayed in. Which makes me think he was getting money from somewhere.
I mean, I'm glad this is an opinion show because that's your opinion. The Kasich Coalition, which I'm a part of.
Man, your Venn diagram is weird. It's just circles on a page.
It's polka dots.
Kasich Coalition.
The Meghan Markle one is the one that brings them all together, though.
The Meghan Markle kind of is the big circle. Then you got a little Lutnick here, little Kasich. Burgum. You got, like Steve Bannon.
That's new. Don't do that. You'll make our people mad. Those war room people mean business.
I know. It's why they're in the circle with Meghan Markle.
I don't think they are. I don't know that Steve Bannon knows who Meghan Markle is, and probably still thinks she's part of the monarchy, ergo.
Brad, can you book Steve Bannon so we can ask that question about Meghan Markle?
I'm on it.
I would clear the schedule if he would come on the show. 100%. I should ask Jack Posobiec. Everything that Republican has been, I have myself been like, Marco Rubio is an interesting one. Marco Rubio, Mr. Establishment in the 2016, who made it the farthest. I did something fun. It's because we're winning so much right now in the Republican Party. Last week, I was driving home, and I don't remember what tipped me off to this, but I was like, I'm going to go back and watch some 2016 primary video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought I was a nerd.
You are.
Yeah, but
about coupons.
That's okay. Yeah. They're in my circle.
They're in a
which
circle.
I call the Markle circle.
Okay. Yeah. Meghan Markle. You should.
Circle.
Yeah, the Markle circle. The Meghan Markle circle and the extreme couponers. Same people.
We love the Royals.
I was a huge Rubio fan. I'm still such a huge Rubio fan. I'm a fan of all of these people right now. Everywhere I look, I'm like, all of these people are winning.
Wait, you said you went back and watched these videos, though. I
Yes.
need to hear a little bit more about the discovery.
Because the key issue, the tie that binds in the 2016 primary was, what are you going to do about illegal immigration? What are you going to do? Are you going to even admit that it's an issue? It became such an important thing. Was 2016 where everyone started speaking in Spanish? That was 2020, I think. Because 2016 was Hillary Clinton. She killed everybody who didn't. That's not true. That's a dirty, mean rumor.
Ooh, yeah, we would never.
2020, when people were talking about what to do with immigration again, and there were people on the stage who just started speaking in Spanish. I think the whitest boy up there, Pete Buttigieg, was one of them. And then Cory Booker was like, let me answer that in Spanish. No. See, politics is fun. Politics is amusing. Go back to 2016's presidential primary. They're arguing about illegal immigration and what's going to happen about it. They're talking about DACA on the stage in 2016. The number of people in 2016 that they were arguing about what we should do with, in the 700,000s. 700,000 just today at this press conference at Alcatraz in the Everglades in Florida. Just today, a reporter said to President Trump and Kristi Noem, you know, you've talked about people self-deporting. You've got the CBP Home app, I think it is. How many people are doing this? She said, we don't actually have the numbers. We're going to talk to these other countries to see what kind of help we can get, what kind of information they have. And they're telling us that they have swaths of people coming back home to their country because they want to get back into the United States. And they know that the way to get back into the United States is to not get caught in the United States. So they are self-deporting so they can hurry up and get in line to come back. I will say this. I thought really good political talking point, a little wishy-washy on the hard evidence, but I can't imagine that there isn't a portion of that is true. Number off the top of your head, how many people are in this country illegally? What are the numbers that you've heard?
That have come in the last 4 years?
No.
I've heard. Oh, no, total.
Just answer the question.
20 million.
That's the number that I was off the top of my head. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I was
too?
around that area.
20, 22 million, something around there. They asked President Trump, who deferred to Kristi Noem, and she said that they believe that over 1 million people have self-deported already, and they don't have a quantified number because they know there are people who are doing it outside of our system. They're just leaving, and they're getting in line to come back. That's progress. That is success. And that is because there's something here worth coming for, folks. They came here because the president prior to Donald Trump or in between Donald Trump said, come here. And then when we were supposed to have a border czar who wanted to be the president right now, she goes to the what is the triangle countries down there? I don't know if it was like Guatemala or something. She goes down there and she's like, don't come. But then they kick the door open and she turns around, looks over her shoulder when she flies back in the United States, winks at people, and they flood our borders. And we don't stop them. And then we try to put together legislation that says we're going to flood the border with new agents. What are they going to do? Process people coming in, not stopping them, not doing their job, not securing the southern border. They're going to make it smooth sailing to come in. We'll just document people while they come in. Now we don't even know the number. Imagine that. We don't even know the number. We can hit something the size of a refrigerator door with 6 bombs that are called bunker busters out of a B-2 bomber that doesn't have the self-defense on it, so it's guided by Super Hornets, another amazing American technology. We can do that, but we don't know how many people are in this country? Donald Trump's doing something about it. The Republican Party has come so far that I feel like today's a good day to say, yeah, I'm a Republican. Period. Don't quantify it. People know what that means now. And if people have the ability to slander that name because they've believed something the mainstream media has lied about you, you're not going to change their minds anyway. Just be a nice, good, kind person, living your life happily in the greatest country on the face of the planet and say you're a Republican and go about your day. The YouTube live chat poll for today. At this point, I will allow you to reserve the right to change your opinion at any given time. But right now, who would you like to see as the next GOP president? J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Sarah Sanders, which was a name that was thrown out yesterday by Hogan Gidley. I thought that was a good one. Or someone else, anyone else. Of course, we will require your comments on that one as well. Come tell us what you think. Let us know how you feel about how the Republican Party is doing right now. Have they come a good distance in the last 10 years? Paul Perez, president of the National Border Patrol Council, is going to talk to us about what this administration has done to secure our border and what that big, beautiful bill that has just been passed in the last hour by the Senate with a tie-breaking vote by J.D. Vance, what does it do to secure our borders? Paul Perez next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Home Shield Foundation Repair online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. All right, I'm talking to you. You've been trying to figure out what to do about that broken up driveway. It's not level. It's a pain in the butt. You trip on it. It's dangerous. It's hazard when mom and dad come over. You don't want them to trip, or little kids. If you've got a sidewalk or a walkway that needs to be leveled, garage floors, patios, pool decks, even commercial and industrial concrete that needs to be leveled out, you need Home Shield Foundation Repair. When you call them, 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636, you're going to be connected with experts. These are local people, local family-owned company right here in St. Louis that wants to come and work their tail off to do the very best job that they can for you. And the process is oddly satisfying. There are YouTube reels out there that show the leveling of concrete, and they're captivating to a nerd like me. If you've got that uneven or sunken concrete, don't live with that eyesore anymore. It is also a safety hazard. They can make sure that that is leveled up with polyjacking. It's an incredible process. They offer a 5-year warranty on top of it. And all you need to do is call Home Shield Foundation Repair to get started. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Even for you, as an example, tremendous amount of Homeland Security money. Tremendous amount. It's going to keep the border secure because, we have them secure now. But we need to build more wall. I built almost 600 miles of wall. We need more wall. And all of that's covered in this bill. This bill is amazing for everybody. It's an amazing bill for Florida, too. Really great for Florida.
You've heard the concerns about the Medicaid, cuts, though, Mr.
No,
President.
we're not going to be playing with Medicaid.
An estimated
Only waste, fraud, and
million
abuse.
Americans could lose
Yeah,
their
the
coverage.
Democrats have it wrong.
Promise?
Yeah. Waste, fraud, and abuse. In fact, if you look at what's gone on, we've gone way back. We take care of Medicaid. We take care of Medicare. They will blow Medicare and Medicaid because they have no idea what they're doing. Just like they don't have any idea what they did on the border, they have no idea. Medicaid is in big trouble with the Democrats.
So you can promise anyone who loses their health care coverage that is because of waste, fraud, and abuse?
Waste, fraud, only waste, fraud, and abuse, which is what everybody wants.
President Trump standing outside after landing in Florida in the Everglades at Alligator Alcatraz, talking about the big, beautiful bill. When he landed and was commenting on that, it hadn't passed yet. But in the process of there to where they went inside and they ended up having a press conference, a huge Florida delegation there surrounding him, flanking him. Again, when we're talking about the current state of the, I'm looking at the Dow right now. Everything is, gosh, I shouldn't even say it out loud. Everything is good. When you look at the Florida future, it's not fair. It isn't fair. There are just some places that have their act together. Hopefully the influx of socialist evading New Yorkers into Florida doesn't screw that up.
I thought it was really cool. This is a little bit beside the point, but it's related to the Alligator Alcatraz stuff. Watching President Trump stand with DeSantis today, those guys fought hard. I mean, Rubio and Trump fought hard in 2016.
J.D. Vance called Trump Hitler.
Oh, well, I didn't even think about that one.
But, I mean, to your point, he wants to get the job done. Who wants to help Trump get the job done? Come on.
Well, I think what was cool about watching it is not just that, hey, they're getting along. They were really on the same page. They were
hugging. They were playing tag.
Were they hugging? I didn't see the hugging.
They were playing like Frogger.
See, this seems like a joke to me. I don't think they really were playing Frogger.
Do you have a hard time with comedy?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get bad jokes.
Okay. Alrighty.
No, but it was so watching Trump stand with DeSantis. Yeah. Usually you'd think, oh, Trump is going to want the spotlight. He's not going to want to let Meatball Ron speak and whatever.
Meatball, I forgot about that one.
But he didn't. DeSantis actually led that press conference more than Trump did, and Trump would just kind of fill in. It was just a dynamic between two guys that I hadn't seen.
Here's the brilliance of it, though. When Donald Trump does that, he's proving everyone wrong again and again and again. But watching Donald Trump stand on that tarmac or whatever it is at Alligator Alcatraz, surrounded by people who were his arch nemesis in a primary. He didn't even debate him because the primary was his essentially to have, and he knew that. He had the political acumen to understand that. And now they're together standing there, Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis in Florida, pushing forward really possibly the number one issue that President Trump ran on, which is securing this country again from the illegal immigration that was invited by the Biden administration. Let's get to our guest. Excited to have Paul Perez on the show with us, president of the National Border Patrol Council. Paul, it's an honor to have you here on the show with us. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I really appreciate you having me on.
Of course.
I really, really appreciate it.
I want to give you the opportunity. Talk to us a little bit about your perspective, where you're coming from and what you do, and what this administration has done specifically to secure a border and to fulfill a promise that they made to the American people when they asked for their vote.
Sure, I can tell you that for the past 28 years, I've been on the front lines. I've been doing this job. And, under the first term of President Trump, we had a very, very secure border, and he left everything to where Joe Biden wouldn't have had to do anything but just continue the operations he had. Instead, what Joe Biden did was completely dismantle all the policies and everything that he put in place, which led us to the most unsecure border in the history of this country. Now, what we're asking for under the big, beautiful bill that just passed in the Senate, by the way, is the funding that we need to make sure that we can actually gain operational control of the border. It's going to help us quite a bit. We're going to make sure it's the most secure border in the history of this country, which in just 4 short months, we got the border secure again under President Trump because he changed the policies, and that's all he needed to do. Now we got to maintain operational security, operational control of the border, and this will give us the tools that we need.
We're speaking with Paul Perez. He's the president of the National Border Patrol Council. Talk to me about the difference of the job, the daily responsibilities of a Border Patrol agent under Joe Biden and a Border Patrol agent under Donald Trump.
Sure. Under Joe Biden, for those 4 years, we essentially became a hub for processing the bodies that were being allowed to not only enter the country, but be released into the country. So we were nothing but glorified babysitters. Our agents were not able to patrol. They were not able to interdict, intercept, or deter. They became babysitters. We became processors. As a matter of fact, our former chief, he's no longer the chief of the Border Patrol, he compared what we were doing to what he wanted to see more efficiently. He said, hey, I want us to process the way Chick-fil-A handles their drive-thrus. And so that was, a kick in our rears because we had the leader of the Border Patrol, the chief at the time, who again, we're all glad he's no longer with us as our chief. We got a way better chief now. He's great. But he compared us to Chick-fil-A workers, and that's what they wanted to see going through the Border Patrol station. So that was the Biden open border policy that we had. Now under Trump, we're actually able to do the job that we signed up for, which is law enforcement. We're out there patrolling. We're out there interdicting. We're out there deterring and intercepting. And so our numbers have gotten to record lows. In the history of this country, we've never had the numbers that we have now. And that's indicative of the leadership that President Trump brought to the Oval Office.
We're speaking with Paul Perez right now, the president of the National Border Patrol Council. What kind of time have you particularly spent on the border? Like, what are the things that you've seen that you're aware of that folks like us, we're in St. Louis, Missouri. We know that every state became a border state under the last administration. But what was really happening on the southern border that Americans just haven't fully realized?
So look, a lot. We were fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with members of Congress down here on the border, and we brought senators and congressmen from all corners of the country because they believed that every border was a border state because of what was going on down here. So just so your listeners know, the border is controlled by the cartels on the Mexican side. So nothing happens on the Mexican side without the permission of the criminal cartels. They control who crosses, when and where, and as well as what crosses. So not only people, but narcotics and money and guns going south. So what they had was this lawlessness because they took us off of the line. The Biden administration, they took the agents off the line and they put us in these processing centers because they wanted us to expedite the release of all of the people that were turning themselves in. We weren't even having to chase them down. They were turning themselves in. And as silly as it sounds, they drove taxis and Ubers to our offices to turn themselves in. So what happened was the cartels gained control of the entire border from San Diego all the way to Brownsville.
Wow.
And they were flowing freely. Now with President Trump, they're running scared because he's put the policies in place that allow us to go out. We've got the military. We've got the National Guard here in Texas. We've got a whole of government approach that's able to take back control from the cartels. So it's night and day between what happened with President Biden and what's happening with President Trump now.
I'm reading from a CNN World headline, a Sinaloa highway discovery just within the last 24 hours. This report has come through. Mexican authorities discovered 20 bodies, some decapitated, on the Sinaloa highway. Is this the capacity of these Mexican cartels that you're saying were running the border?
They are barbaric. They are, some of the things that they do are just medieval type barbaric acts. So decapitations, skinning people alive, burning them alive, in dipping them in vats of acid. Anything that you can think of that can inflict pain emotionally and psychologically, they will do just to make sure that no one crosses them. And they do this in Mexico to make sure that they control every level of government, the police, the military, and the government as a whole, because if you don't play with them, then they will kill you. And that's the fight that no president has been willing to take on. President Trump's not afraid of the cartels. He knows that the cartels control everything from the fentanyl that's coming into the United States to the human trafficking, the alien smuggling. It all goes down to what the cartel was allowed to do under previous administrations, including, but more specific to the Biden administration, because he waved the white flag and allowed them to do whatever they wanted.
Man, we're speaking with Paul Perez right now. That's gut-wrenching. It's terrifying. That reality, that is a reality for folks. That's not like if we don't do this, this is going to happen. This is what is already happening right now just south of our border. I can think of stories that I've heard come out of the Middle East that are on par with that type of barbarism. Is that type of gang ability in the United States right now?
It is to a certain degree. So the cartels go after the people that they do business with. The only reason that they won't engage in that type of acts with U.S. citizens, with people here in the country, is because of the fear that they have that they will be specifically targeted by the Trump administration, which he's doing already in Mexico. He's already designated them as foreign terrorist organizations, which gives us the opportunity as a government to go after them. But they have not, because of the great work by law enforcement on this side of the border, local, state, and federal. It's what's keeping the cartel from running amok here in the United States. We have to support our law enforcement because that's what keeps our country safe.
Last question for you, Paul Perez. Part of that supporting our law enforcement is making sure they have the funding that is necessary. You mentioned it briefly there, but the bill has passed out of the Senate, going back to the House. We'll see what that fight looks like here. It's imminent in the House at this point. What would this bill do? How would the Border Patrol be able to level up what they're doing if that funding comes through?
It will allow us to complete the wall that President Trump had already authorized us to build, but President Biden stopped on day one. So we'll be able to complete the wall. We'll be able to finish it. It has enough money in there that we won't have to go back to Congress and ask for more money for the funding of the wall. So it'll allow us to complete the wall. It will get us more vehicles and technology than we've ever had. We have a serious problem with our vehicle fleet because it's old and because the Biden administration paid no attention to what our fleet needs were. This gives us the ability to buy thousands of more vehicles that we can actually use to patrol the border. It gives us the technology funding that we need to make sure that we have eyes on all areas of the border. So it also allows us to retain and recruit more agents that will allow us to secure the border even better once the military is gone.
Paul Perez, it's been a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you for the time today, and we'd love an update as this continues to progress. We'd love to have you come back.
Thank you. I appreciate being on.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. The president of the National Border Patrol Council with some really detailed information about what is real, what is reality, and what is in store for us if we act and if we don't. We're going to take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll for today. At this point, who would you like to see as the next GOP president? Vance, Rubio, Sarah Sanders out of Arkansas, somebody who's been very familiar with the White House, working under Trump's first term as well, or someone else. I don't know. Maybe it's Ron DeSantis. Maybe you really like Jeb ! Everybody is welcome in the YouTube comments. Come tell us what you think. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
STS-armory.com. If you are shopping for a firearm, may I introduce you to Katie and Jesse at STS Armory and their great staff. I got to meet several of them a couple Saturdays ago at their grand reopening at their brand new building. It's a beautiful red building in Pontoon Beach. Very simple to get to from either side. I know that the 111 is closed by 270 right now. I went to it from 5570. Incredibly easy to get to. 162 to 111, you're good. Now, if you're looking for a firearm, if you're questioning, like, gosh, can I carry this? Can I have this in the state of Illinois? Katie and Jesse know. They know how to navigate the Second Amendment in the state of Illinois so that you can still protect yourself and defend yourself. They also know how to make you a very responsible, safe gun owner, firearm operator. I have taken classes with Katie and Jesse, and they are second to none. If you're looking to get your conceal and carry, if you're looking to learn more about safety and security, if you're looking to renew your conceal and carry, STS Armory, they have the answers for you. STS-armory.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Do you have somebody in mind who you'd like to see as the next GOP president? We've given you three options: J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, and Sarah Sanders. But we also given the option of somebody else. I'd like to also know, if you're going to leave a comment, has your position changed on this issue in the last couple months? Just curious. YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think about
Marco
that
Rubio.
Question.
Vote for Rubio.
I don't know if that's your conscience or
Marco Rubio.
Actually, no, wait. That's Annie whispering into the microphone.
Hey!
12:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Can we forget about the things I said when I was drunk? Didn't mean to call you that. I can't remember what was
I am sick and tired of the lies about this bill that have been perpetrated by opportunists who are trying to make a name for themselves. This is the most conservative bill in my lifetime. Tax cuts, defense, border security, homeland security, welfare reform, and the largest spending cut in one bill that has ever been enacted. So, Sean, let's work together. Let's pass this bill. Let's get it to President Trump's desk by July 4th.
Yeah, Ryan.
Whatever. Whatever.
I still maintain that when Steve Miller gets done in politics, he needs to start a Cameo channel where he can be hired to fight your arguments with your spouse.
That'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be so funny?
Seeing him take any side you told him.
Yeah, just pay him $20. He can donate it to charity, and he'll bark at your husband or wife for leaving their underwear on the floor in the bathroom all the time.
You don't need a she shed.
And here's why.
Yeah, I've got a whole bullet point list.
He could win any argument. His delivery is winning.
He is good at it. I didn't know that was him, but it drives me crazy listening to them say, this is the biggest cut in spending ever. Well, it's because you've been spending more than ever. So it's easy to cut when you've been spending more than you ever have.
Let me challenge you on perspective here, because what you say in your criticisms of this bill, not cutting enough everything, I actually agree with all of it. I think you're right on that. I just think that we're so down crap creek that we can't figure out how to do anything better, realistically speaking. But if, when you were looking at your opportunity to vote, if you were looking at Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and you were able to go 6 months into the future of Donald Trump's presidency and 6 months into the future of Kamala Harris's presidency. Did I say Trump first?
Yeah.
I got confused.
Yeah, you did.
If you were able to do that, and you were able to see all of the, I mean, this bill isn't signed yet. The House could implode. It would be a disaster if it does. But they could implode. They could not get the job done. The chances are they will have an agreement and they will vote on it by tomorrow, and it will be to Donald Trump by July 4th. That's my anticipation. The sausage making, very ugly. Lots of slap fighting. All of the expected people are going to be slapping all of the expected people, and then it'll pass, and then it'll sign, and then next week we'll be talking about something else. I don't know what, because Donald Trump keeps solving all of the problems, so I don't know what we're going to talk about next. But if you were able to look 6 months into the future, and let's say this bill is signed by then, and you found out that they did get a bill that cuts, it's impossible to understand what this bill actually cuts, because I was listening to on Harris Faulkner, the beginning of the Faulkner Focus today, and Harris Faulkner is going to be with us in about 20 minutes on the show, so keep it right here. But she was talking with, I think, Mark Wayne Mullen, Senator Mullen, and they were talking about how the CBO has said this is going to, increase the debt and deficit and blah, 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 blah. She's like, do you remember when the CBO said that the Inflation Reduction Act was going to reduce inflation? Remember that? Does anybody remember that? And it didn't. And then she went on to give all of the CBO scores for all of these things, all of these promises that were made. If this, then CBO says that. And that never happens. Which to me means maybe what ends up occurring after this bill gets passed is way worse than what the CBO is predicting. But it also could be better. And some of the factoring in of what this bill is doing, I heard Mullen talking about this. He's like, this is kind of in the weeds stuff. And it felt a little bit in the weeds. But the way the CBO is factoring the outcome here has to do with what the law will be at the time versus what the policy will be at the time. So part of what they were factoring in is the tax cuts going away, as opposed to the policy that would be in place should the bill pass. Wonky, yes. But the whole point is the CBO does not have a record of really nailing it. So any number, that's why I'm kind of a little hesitant to be like, this bill is going to do this. And I'm like, says who? The CBO, which is supposed to be a nonpartisan entity, or the Republicans say it's going to do this and the Democrats say it's going to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is super wonky, too, to get into be like, well, the CBO, and they were selected by Democrats and this and that.
It's wonky, but that's the number. Everybody else is throwing numbers out that have a genesis from that. And if you don't understand where the root source of information is and how it can be manipulated or not reliable, then it's easy to be scared about an increased deficit. It's easy to be scared about not cutting enough spending. It's easy to be super hyped about this is going to be so awesome and Republicans are... It's easy to be all those things, which in the lack of information, people get to play on your emotions and tug at your heartstrings, punch you and make you angry, and then we're all just yelling at each other, and it's like you're really just gonna have to wait and see.
If you're a Democrat, you use the CBO reluctantly because they want to use somebody that's even farther left than them. But the CBO is kind of the establishment. I usually use the House Budget Committee's numbers, which is very Republican and very rah-rah, let's get this bill passed. But then the House Freedom Caucus also releases numbers. And so if you look at all of them,
exactly my point,
you kind of get a general sense instead of looking at just one of them.
Not really, because two of those you just said were hyper-partisan, and one of them isn't ever right.
Yeah, but I mean, those are the numbers we have, though.
Correct.
I mean, that's all we have.
Which is why all I'm saying is I wouldn't waste time getting hyper-emotional about the Republican Party is not, they're a bunch of cowards and all this stuff, because the fact, going back to my initial point, if you were to look 6 months into this presidency and see that they cut as much as they cut, along with everything else, I think in October of last year, if someone said, this is your future, you didn't get to see all the sausage-making details in between, you'd be like, sign me up. I'm in Illinois. I'll vote twice for the guy. I think you'd be pretty happy and content knowing that it was year one with 3 years to go if they don't screw it up. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk a lot more about this throughout the course of the show. The YouTube live chat poll at this point, who would you like to see as the next GOP president? Vance, Rubio, Sarah Sanders, or someone else? Come vote. Wiggins America, helping you dress appropriately in the office, which is something to behold. Stick it here. Wiggins America next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Shop for flooring with confidence in the treatment that you're going to get when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet, another family-owned operated business, decades here in the St. Louis area. So families like yours can support families like theirs, and they support families like yours by delivering top quality goods at affordable prices. That's really what it comes down to. When you think about transforming your home with new flooring, it can really bring an old space new life. And the freshness of it, the new look, the transformative aesthetic in your home, it can really start with flooring. But you want to make sure you're investing in something that is going to hold up. Michael's Flooring Outlet. Check the reviews on their website, igotfloored.com. You can request a free estimate right there as well. You can look at all of the different products that they carry: tile, vinyl, laminate, carpet, like the Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpet many people seek out. It's all there at Michael's Flooring Outlet. It's online at igotfloored.com.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands, because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody. It's our favorite song.
This is Victor Scott II, and there's something for everyone at Busch Stadium. Meet us at the ballpark on Sunday, July 13th, as the Cardinals take on the Braves. 20,000 fans ages 16 and up will score a slick retro warm-up jersey courtesy of Mercy, and 10,000 kids 15 and under can grab a one-of-a-kind Cardinals basketball thanks to the Pasta House Company. It's fun for the whole family. Don't miss it. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotion. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
There's been kind of a cultural shift. Last year, I think if you went into a grocery store, you were reminded very frequently that it was Pride Month. The Bud Light thing really shocked and scared a lot of companies.
The Mark Cox Morning Show, weekdays from 5 to 9. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So Kel says on YouTube, DeSantis is my pick. However, I would put Speaker Johnson as my dark horse. Speaker Johnson is the dark horse in the YouTube poll question. Who would you like to see as the next GOP president? That's a hot take.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Thanks, Kel.
Someone else, I think it's going to be Kevin McCarthy. It's not crazy. I guess I said it jokingly, but
I actually think McCarthy would have a better chance than Mike Johnson.
I do too.
Yeah.
When I said that. All right, this
he
is
should run for governor in California.
McCarthy?
He should.
Ooh, yeah, that might be a good fit for him.
Yes, he should. This is all about how to dress in the workplace.
This is why people come to our show.
And yeah, if you came to the Andy Fry Show to listen to news, this is the news.
Nothing else is happening.
Evolving workplace dress codes. Oh my gosh, it's more confusing than ever. So this is all to help
Ryan,
you.
I think you've literally worn the same outfit every day you've worked here. I think you have one outfit.
That's not entirely true. Although I do wear the same jeans for a long time.
Everyone talks about it.
I shouldn't have said that. These are the ways that you need to approach dressing at work. Annie, would you say that you have a look?
Yeah, like cool Sunday school teacher.
I didn't know that you'd say that.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Hey, can I ask our audience something right now?
Please.
Especially folks who aren't always. I mean, I want definitely our regulars on the chat, but please come. Hit me with it. What would you call my look? I can handle it. Because that's the closest I can get to. I wish I was better.
Cool Sunday school teacher.
Yeah, like the one that lets you play Bible trivia.
The kids are like, oh, the stodgy old people won't ever let us play Bible trivia.
No pamphlet today, kids. Get the game out.
Okay. Well, yeah, let us know. Specifically, let Annie know what her look is. But really, I think we'd all like to know.
I always won Bible trivia.
Brad, what is your look?
Gosh, I don't know. Average Joe?
Average Sunday school teacher?
Yeah, average Sunday school teacher.
The guy who's like, no Bible trivia, that's too fun. I would say that I am probably like Mumford & Sons, super hipster. Always dressing real
the
nice.
Beret.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing a collar today. I don't know if anybody knowed that.
Ironically, it's not around his neck. That's the weird part. But anyway.
You got to tune in to see. All right, so this is the rules. You got to first get a temperature check of the office.
Oh. Go on.
If you're new to a workplace and not sure what to wear, observe how your colleagues dress. Or straight out ask them for advice on what to wear. I do this with Hannah all the time. What should I wear? Ask if there are exceptions to certain standards, like whether it's okay to wear athleisure on casual Fridays or when to opt for a suit when clients are in for meetings.
Kel says Annie looks like a character in a Where's Waldo picture.
But also not a bad thing.
Yeah, he also says not a bad thing. Thank you.
What exactly does that mean?
Keith says frumpy. Thanks, Keith.
Frumpy.
Oh, man.
Pleasant says, all caps, soccer mom. JB says, Annie, it's a radio show. We don't care what you wear.
We're on camera all the time. You got to remember that when you have something in your nose.
I'm going to can I read Scooter's? You guys can go through real quick here and you got it? Can I read it on the air?
Yeah, go ahead. I think so.
Scooter, our very lovable Democrat commenter, says, for me, very attractive and appropriate to the workplace. Brad and Ryan look like temps at an Amazon workplace.
You know what I told him, Mr. President? I said, Scooter, there are only two things I have to do in this world. Be cool and die.
There you go.
You know what I told him, Mr.
How did that come up?
I don't know, Scooter, but you played right into my hands. You insulted Ryan, and I got to get you back. Thanks for commenting.
I'm wearing
Scoot.
a collar today. I already said this, but it needs repeating.
Hey, this is your segment, Ryan. Keep going. You're doing great.
Show up as yourself. See dressing for work as an opportunity, not as an obligation. Because whenever I wake up, I'm like, ugh, I got to put on clothes again. But
what do you sleep naked?
If you show up as yourself,
why you just blow by that?
Putting a little bit of work.
You're a naked sleeper.
Put together can help you stand out and make people trust and respect you. So look at dressing up as an opportunity, not as an obligation.
You sleep in the nude?
I didn't say that. You said that.
You said that.
No, I didn't.
You said I got to get up in the
I
morning
hate
and put
putting
clothes on again?
Clothes all the time before I go to work. I shower without
It's not what
clothes.
you said.
I don't sleep nude. I sleep in a full parka, and then I get up, I take it off, and I get in the shower.
We all know how you take a bath, which if you haven't listened to the show for a while, he told a story one time about he loves to take baths, which is funny, period. We could stop there, but let's go on. He gets completely naked into the bathtub and then starts running the water like a serial killer.
That's true.
That's not the way to do it. Go on.
What is the way to do a bath? Is it to fill it up,
First
bubble bath,
first
through
you
rose
run
petals?
No, listen to me.
Nice
First,
book.
First, you run the water and you get it the appropriate temperature. Then you put the plug in. Then you get some water in there. Then you put the soap in if you want soap or sea salt, bath salt type of stuff, or bubbles for you. And then you let the water do its thing.
Oh, I'm so relaxed now. Let me open my book by Tom Clancy and eat off of my charcuterie board. That's not even realistic, guys. Tune into next Wiggins America for bath etiquette.
I think we just took care of it.
But for now, dress to your job. Of course, there are limits to wearing what you want at work. That self-expression should never come at the expense of your ability to support yourself.
George says, what does the article say about ball caps in the workplace?
It doesn't. It says, actually,
it was scratched out.
It says, do it. It says you should do it.
George, I'm looking at the paper right now, and it's scratched out, and there are angry faces drawn around it.
My bosses approved this before I did it.
You have never asked your bosses about your appearance.
I went to Steve and I said, "Do I look okay today?" And I do this so often.
And he says,
he just hand waves it.
He goes,
like, "Of course,
I don't care."
Yeah. Every day, he's like, "I don't care." Keep tidy. Dressing sharply doesn't have to be expensive, as long as your attire fits your office environment and your body. Like, don't wear clothing that's too tight and revealing. I learned this the hard way. When this segment,
it's yours. These are your choices.
When in doubt,
people always talk about Wiggins America, and I'm like, okay, I won't touch it. I won't do anything to it. Tie your own rope.
Mm-hmm. She keeps trying, but you keep giving good feedback.
Dang it.
So I encourage you to get in the chat and give me great feedback. Tell me this is a great segment, or maybe this was a swing and miss, but most of them are hits. I mean, either way. But last one.
He's having a breakdown.
When I can't get the last one out.
You're toast. Let's bring some integrity back to the
when
show.
When in doubt, err on the side of caution with your dress.
Harris Faulkner next on the Annie Fry Show. Unless she was listening, then maybe not. You have to wait and see. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
RulerFoods.com has a 4th of July sale waiting for you to come check out. Ruler Foods, you can find them online at RulerFoods.com. Put your zip code in and finally make the trek over to Ruler Foods for the first time and say to yourself, gosh, should have listened to Annie a lot earlier, because they have the stuff that you love for less. That's a smart decision to make for your checking account. Shop at Ruler Foods this holiday and any day. Right now they have 2-pound packs of strawberries and 18-ounce blueberries, just $3.99 each. Strawberries and blueberries go great with 4th of July, don't they? And of course, juicy, sweet, seedless watermelons, $3.99 each. Kroger, 73% lean ground beef for you to fire up the grill this weekend. $3.49 a pound. It comes in a 3-pound roll. And stock up on soda, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, A&W, or root beer, 4 for $17 anytime you buy 4. Kroger potato chips as well, just $1.49 each. Stock up, fire up, and celebrate America big this weekend at Ruler Foods. Go online to rulerfoods.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. We know the loss and the cost of an accident because when an insurance company offers a lowball settlement, we go to war for you and take the fight to the insurance company. Call 314-500-5000.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. Passage in the U.S. Senate. I'm Lisa Brady. The tax cut and spending plan the president calls beautiful, winning Senate approval on a tie-breaking vote from Vice President Vance after 3 Republicans voted against it. Senators Tom Tillis and Rand Paul concerned about the national debt. Susan Collins about Medicaid cuts. One estimate is that more than 11 million Americans could lose health insurance.
I'm saying it's going to be a very much smaller number than that, and that number will be waste, fraud, and abuse. And if you look, they took a much more liberal stance on the Medicaid situation than they could have.
President Trump also telling reporters he thinks final House passage may be easier than the Senate, but some House Republicans want to tap the brakes.
The bottom line is this is not ready for prime time.
House Freedom Caucus Chair Andy Harris telling Fox,
we support the president's agenda. The president's agenda was not to raise the deficit by $750 billion over the next 10 years.
Harris says the House and Senate need to negotiate a final version and that a final vote could come next week instead of tomorrow as planned. Democrats call the bill a betrayal that will hurt American families.
Any worker in clean energy industry who loses their job does not think it's beautiful. Any mom who can't feed her kid on $5 a day doesn't think it's beautiful.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer rejecting the White House argument that it will kickstart the U.S. economy in part by extending the 2017 Trump tax cuts. A mixed reaction from victims' families after Brian Kohberger agreed to plead guilty to killing 4 University of Idaho students to avoid the death penalty.
Now, if the deal goes through, he'll live the rest of his life behind bars. Now, the family of Kaylee Goncalves reacted with what they themselves called fury. But the family of Ethan Chapin say they will be here, quote, in support.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Boise, where a change of plea hearing is set for tomorrow. A lengthy trial was set to begin in August. America is listening to Fox News.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new air conditioner installed this summer, call a company you can trust to install your AC properly. That will get your home cool and comfortable fast. For a free estimate on a new air conditioner, visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry
Go
Show.
further toward the Vienna model. We'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us.
That is New York City mayor candidate officially for the Democrat Party as of today. When people tell you who they are, it's important to listen to them. And we've been listening to this candidate, who's a socialist, say who he is for quite some time. Let's get to Harris Faulkner. So great to have her back on the show. She is the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Faith Still Moves Mountains, and of course, the anchor and host of the Faulkner Focus and Outnumbered on Fox News. Harris, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Well, hello, Annie. It's great to talk with you. It has been a huge day of news. I know you're talking about Zoran Mamdani here in New York City. The president even had a word or two for him in the last couple of days. And again today, basically, New Yorkers, beware. He's a communist. I mean, these are the words that the president of the United States are using. And of course, New York is his home. So he feels a certain kind of way about it. But I don't know who really wants communism in New York City, where stuff is already put into the hands of so many people who are not here legally and have committed further crimes. I mean, we know we have thousands of unvetted criminals amongst us. Yes, they came across the border illegally, but then they furthered that by committing other types of crimes. We know we have thousands of them. We learned that under Mayor Eric Adams earlier in his term under former President Joe Biden. So that, what I call an invasion of illegal aliens who still are committing crimes, it's untenable for us to take. But for this guy, Mamdani, to say if he were mayor what he would do is kind of rich. Because had he stayed an assemblyman for New York City, he might have been able to do some of the things he's pitching. I don't know if he read the job requirements for mayor.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing for people to follow. As he has become the official Democratic nominee, we're here in the heartland of the country, St. Louis, Missouri. We've got a blue state across the river, just like you're in New Jersey. I live in Illinois, a red state in Missouri. And so I'm looking at a socialist running for mayor in New York City who seems to be the front runner. I'm curious if you think that this is important for people in St. Louis, Missouri here in the Midwest to be following.
Well, I mean, I don't know the texture of the politics there as much as I did when I lived in the state, just north of there, obviously, Kansas City. But I will say the texture of the policies and politics for Americans across the country is they don't want this. They could have had far left policies from Kamala Harris. They said as a nation, majority, popularity vote in all 7 battleground states, that that's not the life they want. They don't want Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders. They don't want that. They've had opportunities to express on a national level because either those people have run for president or they're sniffing it out now, like AOC. The country's already decided upon that. So if you're in St. Louis or anywhere else, you need to pay attention to New York City. Technically, for the Democratic Party, Annie, this is not about far-left, socialist, communistic policies. This is about them figuring out how to win. And if this is what it takes, they will jump on this bandwagon. And all those moderates I keep hearing, and whatever happened to the blue dog Democrats and all of that, they couldn't win across the board.
Yeah.
They couldn't win. And they couldn't win the White House even when votes were usurped. The people were usurped. Those Democratic voters were not consulted and asked, would you prefer Kamala Harris over an aging, out-of-touch Joe Biden or an open primary? They were never given that choice. It was taken from them by the elites in the party, those people who think that when they can run the DNC and the, and those programs that collect money and funding, that they get to make all the decisions. So it's tough. I don't think that this guy is popular across the country. I'm not even certain he's popular here in New York. He only won, and he won by 13% in this particular category. He only won over the richest people in New York, which means I don't know if their guilt needs to be assuaged. I have no idea what's going on there. Some of them are young, rich tech, that sort of thing. Those are the demographics that we're learning. The lower income went to Andrew Cuomo by 13%. So it's interesting. The spectrum spanned, it was divided, and many of the middle income, they were kind of split too. Maybe a few broke for Mamdani on issues of far left politics, like anti-Semitism. I hate to say it, there are 1.3 million Jews in New York City. It's the largest population outside of Israel is in this state of New York. So I don't get it. But he didn't win with the people he's preaching the free stuff to. And I find that to be because the other stuff that he's about doesn't appeal to him. They have more reason to vote than the people in the other categories necessarily based on what he's saying. You don't know how the general is going to look for the city. I think if they can get the independent out of the race or not let Andrew Cuomo run as an independent, and the Democrats can pull that stuff because they did it with Biden and Kamala, maybe Eric Adams has a shot as an independent. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that it's going to be an incredible study for all of America to see how this unfolds. I don't know that we're going to have a straight up socialist identifying themselves as a run for mayor here in St. Louis, but it's a very far left leaning blue city, certainly in a very red state.
Better than Chicago?
In Missouri, yes. In Illinois is a red state with a very blue Cook County. I don't know if you have ever heard this statistic, but a statewide candidate in Illinois can win the Republican nomination and actually win the statewide if they win 20% of Cook County. And I'm pulling hard for Gianna Caldwell to run for Senate here. I would hate to take him away from Fox News, but I want him bad.
I love that.
I want to ask you, I heard a guest that you had on Outnumbered this week talk about how people were talking to Andrew Cuomo, like, why are we hearing about Mamdani in the news all the time? And he said the Democrat Party is a mess. There's basically no leadership there. So we've seen the Democrat Party fall apart. But I'm looking at Donald Trump every day. You cover this, for millions of people every day. But Donald Trump is stacking up the wins, and we're not even 6 months in. How do you feel that Donald Trump has transformed what it means to identify as a Republican in this country?
I'm going to break it down the way I did for Democrats. We want to win.
Simple.
The nation wants to win. They didn't see any wins with Biden. They saw at one point 9.1% inflation. Oh, my goodness, we were in a category we hadn't been in before without some sort of catastrophe falling. Oh, well, there was one. A man who was to the point where he was almost non-sentient most of the time he spent in public. But look, it all hinges on the same thing. Americans want someone who can deliver. American voters voted for someone who can deliver. And he's got to deliver. He doesn't have a choice either. I mean, it's not like President Trump is stacking wins because he's been losing. He's doing it because he's doing one right after the other. You've got to get them and then roll. Today during Outnumbered, so during the noon hour Eastern, we made the announcement that the official recount of the Mamdani vote against Cuomo was given and that he did, in fact, officially win. They had to do that because Mamdani won with fewer than 50%. So that was baked in. But again, he gets a win. He gets a headline for the day. You see what I'm going with this? Mm-hmm. Trump keeps getting a headline. He knows that the big, beautiful bill is probably on schedule to pass after 25 hours. They had to do it at some point today, right? Mm-hmm. So he knew that. He knew the optics would be on the ground in Florida at Alligator Alcatraz with a very popular governor, Ron DeSantis, who led on the issue, just like the president did, on illegal immigration. He was the governor who sent the first people northeast to Martha's Vineyard. He got that conversation started by, well, why don't the rich people want to pay for these people? I gave them a chance. Well, he's doing it again. The president's with him. He took his DHS secretary, Kristi Noem, with him. They had so many pop-up news conferences during the 11 o'clock, my hour.
Yeah.
I had on lawmakers with me. I had on Texas House, not Texas House, but House Representative Chip Roy of the great state of Texas, border state, with me. And I had to keep thanking his good grace because we had to keep cutting away. The president was talking again. He was having another news conference. He knows how to own that moment. So all day long, he's had wins. Mamdani had an important win today, but can he sustain that over time? I argue you can't do that with Andrew Cuomo. First of all, he's got too much baggage that involves women. Full stop.
Right.
Yeah, full stop.
Right.
I don't know the adjudication and all of that right off the top of my head. I can't remember who got what amount or whatever. Was there money? Did somebody get paid off? Was he found innocent or just not guilty? I don't remember. I just remember the number was higher than 5 women who alleged things against this governor, former governor. So he's coming back out with all of that. He didn't talk to young people. He didn't go on social media and meet people where they are. Like, I just don't think he's a candidate of 2025.
Yeah.
But that's just my humble opinion.
I think it's a great opinion.
Educated, but humble.
Yes, for certain. I pay attention to President Trump. He's speaking all of the time. The amount of time that he is the one who takes the questions, they fire him off at him. He said today in Florida at that press conference that he's kind of enjoyed his relationship with the press lately, that it's been good compared to the way it's been in the past. But I feel like he's actually, it's almost, I can almost choke on this saying out because getting these words out, because from where he's come to where he is right now, I think that the American people look to Donald Trump and say, this guy knows what he's doing. And even if I have questions, the Republican Party is debating on a lot of issues, certainly today, even more so, but people trust him and they trust his leadership and his guidance, that he knows what's best. And I think that having covered him for this long, it's really a wild ride to get to this point in 2025 where people look to him and say, we trust your vision.
Well, I mean, if you compare 160 days under anybody, this has been tremendous in terms of the volume of access to the president that the media have, the volume of news conferences and bilateral meetings and White House, Oval Office type of situations, some rather explosive and things that we've never seen, like his, in the White House bilateral with Zelensky. I mean, just think about all the world leaders who come in and just broken all the dishes on the floor. I mean, it went south fast. I don't know if you're Canada, were you happy after that? I don't know what your happiness looks like, but my goodness, he's ruined some folks' days just by being him.
Yeah.
He's not trying to play gotcha or be snookered or anything like that. I mean, he's not trying to play victim or king. He is just simply saying, you wanted to talk to me. You still haven't made a tariff deal with me. What do you want to talk about? Oh, let's talk about this. Oops. Person who's visiting wishes he hadn't picked that. I mean, I don't know that we've ever seen this kind of communication from, not even Trump in his first term was like this.
Yeah.
So he came in with a vision, and this is inherently, I think, the answer to your previous question about, will you see this in St. Louis? If he can infuse his ability to deliver and to make a copious argument to the American people by speaking so much to the media that they cover him, they don't just talk about him, they talk to him, which is different. They cover him. If he can do that and infuse some of that, just supreme communicative ability that he has, communicative ability, I think Democrats are going to be sore for a long time. I don't know if messaging will even make up what they lack in policy and access. I mean, I think about the last few interviews of Joe Biden, including when he went on The View post-presidency and was trying to, remember he was with his wife and they were trying to hang on to his legacy and some of the books that started to come out about him. And it wasn't a glory time for the Bidens. Haven't seen him since.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that went well. I think the PR people were like, well, let's sit this one out for a little bit. Certainly. Harris Faulkner.
But you would think maybe he could help his team play, but he can't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a demise that is interesting to watch. And you were mentioning this on your show, I think it was yesterday, like we hope that people stay focused and continue to push on that issue as well, because we deserve the truth. You do that every day on Fox News, and we love watching it. And we're always grateful when you have some time for us here, Harris Faulkner. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Stay blessed.
Come back again. You as well. God bless you. Author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Faith Still Moves Mountains, Harris Faulkner, anchor and host of the Faulkner Focus and Outnumbered on Fox. I spend 2 hours with her pretty much every day, and always great to have her on for a couple minutes here on the Annie Fry Show. Quick break. We'll get Ryan back in here, and we're going to sync up with Link Lauren at 1:30 on the show. Can't wait to have him on. He brings energy everywhere he goes, which is why we're like, come on the Annie Fry Show anytime you can. Link Lauren will be with us at 1:30. Make sure you're tuned in for that. And go give Harris Faulkner a thank you on X if you so choose. Tell her thanks for coming on to our little St. Louis radio station here. It's always great to speak with her. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
And it seemed everlasting that you would always be mine. Now you wanna be free, so I let you fly. 'Cause I know in my heart, babe, our love will never die. No.
Point Pest Control with an E out at my house today. Why? Because a couple weeks ago I saw a spider. And folks, I'm not even exaggerating this. It's been over 2 Novembers in our house where I had them. We came home from a long weekend away, so the house had settled. It had sat and dormant essentially for maybe 3 days. And we came downstairs and we saw 2 wolf spiders in a matter of minutes. And when you see 2, God, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about how many were actually down there. Got Point Pest Control to come out for the first time, treated inside, treated outside. I went over 2 years without seeing a spider in the house. We saw one a few weeks ago. I think it was after it had warmed up and was raining and everything outside. And I called Point and they came. They said, we can come out today. I was like, I'm not ready for you to come out right now, but I need you to come out soon. They came and sprayed inside and outside because I'm a quarterly service plan subscriber. I pay them every quarter to come out and spray outside. And it has kept us not just spider free, but bug free this entire time. Call them at 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023, and enjoy that safety and security that we enjoy in our house and will enjoy into the future. Make sure you mention my name and save an extra 10% off the best deal they got going. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Tune in to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the first ever Brendan Donovan Charity Clay Shoot happening Thursday, August 7th at Strathelman Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinals standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebs for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Don't wait. Sponsorships and shooter sponsor going fast. Visit teamrwb.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who've served. 97.1 FM Talk, backing our veterans every step of the way.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
For the first afternoon of July, our weather is spectacular. Lots of sunshine, less humid. 87 for the high. These are bonus days in the summertime. Tonight, clear skies, spectacular evening. 67 for the overnight low. Wednesday, sunny and 89. The heat and humidity slowly build back on Thursday. It's hot and humid on the 4th of July. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Where are you now when darkness seems to win? Where are you now when the world...
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child.
The YouTube live chat poll for today. At this point, who would you like to see as the next GOP president? J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Sarah Sanders, or someone else? Ron DeSantis getting a few shout outs in the comments today. Brad, who's your pick?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Ron DeSantis because I voted someone else, and I still think it's Ron DeSantis. And the reason I think that it's Ron DeSantis is I think that a governor's ability to govern scales, and I think it would be easier, and he would have a lot of success based on the experience that he has governing Florida. And I look at Florida and I go, let's make all of the United States Florida because Florida looks great.
Keith says a Vance Rubio ticket. Has Vance really sold you? Because to me, the thing that is the thumbs up about Vance is that Trump picked him.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's. I think everything. I don't have anything negative to say about it. But I said I was Rubio. I love Ron DeSantis too. If it turned out to be one of those two, I'm all in. Mm-hmm. If it was Vance, I'd be. There's none of these people that are being suggested on here that I've seen so far are no's to me. But you need first and foremost, somebody who can win. And B, you need somebody who's genuine. This is what Hogan Gidley was talking about yesterday quite a bit with us. You can't come in and do Trump. Nobody does that. Even the Trump kids, when they do Trump, and they are Trump, it feels like they're posturing.
I don't know with Vance, though, because it seems like he had a reputation pre-vice presidential pick for being a fighter. And in fact, he had a reputation for
fighting
being
for what?
Only a fighter. Like that he was, I don't want to say Chris Christie type, but he was willing to go to the mat for stuff.
For what?
With the media in ways that others weren't. Like he was just willing to do that publicly, and he was good at it. And
he's unbothered.
Yeah, and a lot of politicians aren't either very good at that or they're not willing to do it, but he had that reputation. Policy-wise, I can't tell you exactly where he stood on everything pre-Trump, and so in that sense, now that he's been adopted very much into MAGA, he pretty much represents MAGA, America First policies, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. I mean, for his possible re-election.
Vance?
Yeah.
No, he's fully in. Again, nothing negative to say about J.D. Vance. My biggest question is electability. And going off of what Hogan said yesterday, and you can go to the Odyssey app and check out our podcasts there if you want to hear that interview, the discussion we had with Hogan yesterday. God bless you. Are you okay? Do you need a minute?
I think it would be okay.
It was 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah, I've never seen him do that before. J.D. Vance has that he's a dude. He's
willing to chill.
You can look at him and go, that's J.D. Vance. And when he says something, I believe that's what J.D. Vance thinks in his head. So I think that is incredibly important. You need someone who's genuine. The thing that Donald Trump has had, in my opinion, which is vision and the experience to back up having vision brought to reality. Just in business, just in the way he has lived his life and done so successfully. Included in that was failure, and it didn't stop him, which is what you need. I think Marco Rubio, in his initial campaign in 2016 for president, had vision for this country in a way that I had not seen before that. The Donald Trump train had taken off on the tracks at the same time, and I wasn't paying attention to it. I was not enamored immediately by the Donald Trump thing. I was kind of about it, not interested. I have enough common sense in my head to vote for the guy to keep Hillary Clinton from becoming the president, and then had enough humility about myself to be like, wow, this guy's great. This guy is a conservative in practice, not just in talk, which is what a lot of the smooth talkers were not. They know exactly what to say to you, but they couldn't deliver. I think that the Republican Party, if they try to do a Trump impersonator, it will fail miserably.
I do too, and that's why Vance is good, is because he really is associated with all of Trump's policies now, but he's not disingenuous. Marco Rubio isn't either. That's what so Vance has this kind of podcasty kind of quality about him where he's able to just chill and he's a regular guy. Marco Rubio doesn't give off that vibe to me, But he seems incredibly
No,
genuine,
but
though.
he seems like if you wanted to live in a country where you could chill out and talk with the guys in a podcast about whatever you want, if Marco Rubio were at the helm, you'd be safe doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be broskies with the president of the United States. I need them to know what they're doing and mean business. And since Marco Rubio is doing basically all the jobs that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump aren't, I feel like we'd be comfortable there. I don't think you can lose with either of those two. Our friend Link Lauren on the Annie Fry Show in just a couple minutes. Do not go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Home Shield Foundation Repair. Add an S to it, and that's the website, homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. Smooth out that uneven, dangerous trip hazard that you have right now in the concrete at your home. Could be at your place of business. They do residential, they do industrial, commercial, concrete lifting. You can solve this problem with a local company that is looking to race to your job to get it done and get it done right. That's Home Shield Foundation Repair, online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. Concrete lifting is an important process. It's a modern solution. It raises and stabilizes sunken concrete using high-density polyurethane foam. The method is superior to traditional mud jacking because it's lightweight, long-lasting, non-invasive, 5-year warranty coming along with the process that Home Shield Foundation Repair can do for you. If you want to know more about them, other concrete services that they offer, you can go online and you can check out all that they do, but you can call them directly at 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636. Tell them Annie sent you. Hit them up online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
The Starbucks Summer Berry Refresher is officially back. Bold notes of raspberry, blueberry, and blackberry shaken with ice and poured over raspberry-flavored pearls. Try it with lemonade or coconut milk. Available for a limited time. Your Summer Berry Refresher is ready at Starbucks.
Having a tough time paying your bills? Learn how to reduce your credit card debt to a fraction of what you owe. Call the Debt Helpline now for free advice. 800-329-9912. 800-329-9912.
YouTube live chat poll is at this point. Who would you like to see as the next GOP president? J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Sarah Sanders. Yeah, that's an option. Or somebody else. 131. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't think you should be playing that game with me.
President Trump and Elon Musk, the family is fighting again. What does this mean? Are we worried? There's a lot of winning going on right now. The Senate has passed the big, beautiful bill, and it goes to the House. That slap fight will happen. It'll probably get passed by tomorrow, signed by the end of the week. The sausage making is ugly, and now Elon Musk and Trump are going back at it with one another again. Let's ask our friend Link Lauren about it. Who's back with us? A must subscribe to podcast, Spot On with Link Lauren. Do not miss it. He's a former senior advisor to RFK Jr. and a great political commentator. Link, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. I was just saying, I was like, I love Annie Fry. We need to have her on my podcast. I don't know if you do other people's podcasts and shows, but I'd love to have you on mine.
I would love to. I would love to do that. Absolutely. Did you hear that Elon Musk, Donald Trump little thing earlier today as they arrived at Alligator Alcatraz?
Yeah, well, I'm just jealous I'm not at Alligator Alcatraz. I want to go tour. I want to see it. I'm looking for some new alligator shoes, so I think it'd be a really beneficial trip.
You're shopping. You're going there to shop. I see.
Exactly. It's like that scene from Happy Gilmore where he's fighting with the alligator and then he gets the ball back. Yeah, that's how I imagined it. But no, everybody seems to be having a good time. It seems like President Trump has now fled. He's left Alligator Alley. He's headed back to the White House. While he was there on split screen, the Senate passed the one big, beautiful bill. I like my bills like I like my men, big, beautiful, and ideally just one of them. So, yeah, it looks like, yeah, exactly.
There's somebody out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it's headed to the House now. I don't know what's going on with Senator Murkowski. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm one of those people. Just let me know, okay? If it passes, great. If it doesn't, let me know so I can cover it because I don't know what the heck is going to happen. And as for Elon and Trump, I don't really think that much about Elon either, and that's not a slight to Elon. You know, he really supported President Trump's campaign financially, but I have to be honest, I feel like that money would have been there. I think this is President Trump's moment, right? He won on the policies, and so, you know, Elon can go on and do his businesses. President Trump was elected, not Elon.
Yeah. Yeah, because certainly. I think that the Elon Musk-Donald Trump relationship, I kind of held my breath through the whole thing. It was so publicized for obvious reasons. And then there was the split, and then there was a little regret, and I thought it was kind of behind us. Now it's here again, and I wonder how much of that is stoked by the left. But what side of this fight would the left even take? They can't agree on anything right now as a party.
No, they can't agree on anything except that they want illegals to have better health care than I do on Blue Cross and that they want open borders. No, the left can't agree on anything. But as for President Trump and Elon Musk, my feeling is I don't think President Trump is giving Elon Musk that much thought. I think on social media and in the press, they love to have this feud, like Elon and Trump have had a falling out. I feel like President Trump was like, all right, well, we're moving on. You know, I don't think he was really too bothered by the whole Elon situation. And as I've said for years, I've never been a huge fan of Tesla. I've been on record for this for years. Anytime I'm in a Tesla, it's kind of rickety. I'm fighting for my life. You go over a pothole and it feels like the Northridge earthquake. So I've never been a huge, Tesla person, but I wish Elon well. It's just President Trump has a country to run. You know, you can keep tweeting. And I will say, I understand Elon's concern, right? Elon's like, why do we keep increasing the debt ceiling? We're, $37 trillion in debt. I understand that, but we have to get border security. We have to get all of these things. And I don't know. I'm just going to trust the process and go with President Trump on this one.
Amen. I second that completely. I think that the American people have leaned into trusting Donald Trump's vision and have really shown that in a lot of the polling that comes across that Donald Trump continues to poll well, especially this far into his second term in office. I'm wondering what you think about some of the other issues that maybe aren't mainstream today, of course, with the Senate passing the big, beautiful bill. There's this slow drip, and it's encouraging of stuff coming out of the RFK Jr. Health and Human Services camp where there are companies, not because they're being mandated to, but because he's having conversations with them, that are telling us, like Nestle, among others, General Mills, we're going to do this a healthier way. How do you feel about RFK Jr.'s progress in the cabinet so far?
Oh, I think he's doing great, especially coming into a system where he's never – I think because people were under the impression his last name was Kennedy, he had all this, government experience, folks who maybe weren't paying so much attention. He'd never held public office, never been a governor or a senator or a congressman. So he's coming into the cabinet, into the system and getting his footing and getting his bearings. I think he's killing it and doing so well at Health and Human Services. And I think the free market, I think capitalism are really going to help push the health and wellness movement along, because when other companies start to say, well, we're banning our dyes and you're going to want our products because they're healthier and better for your children, other companies are going to have to follow suit if they're capitalist and they want to make money. And so it's interesting watching all these companies now. It's like every other day a new one comes out, Hershey's and this one and that one, because they got to keep up. Parents are going to stop putting it in their grocery carts. They're going to go with the healthier alternatives.
Yeah, that's perfect example of what the free market can do. The first company to get out there, they kind of get the main headlines. And then everybody else has to say, well, if I want to compete with Nestle and I'm Hershey, then I'm going to have to do what I need to do to make sure that I'm not the unhealthy option, as you mentioned, that stays out of the cart. I'm going to take you to New York City now. Mamdani, the New York City socialist, self-professed socialist candidate. Have you ever identified yourself, Link, as a Democrat? How do you ascribe?
Oh my God. Oh, I won't even go out with a Democrat. Could you imagine? Oh, I'm getting sick.
Okay, don't get sick.
But yeah, no, I've never identified as a Democrat. I think because I went to NYU and I lived in New York and, had friends who were Democrats and super liberal. People are like, oh, you were so far left and this and that. It's like, no, not really. Like, I'm from Dallas, grew up in a conservative environment. My brother drives a pickup truck and collects guns. Like, that's my family. So I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I was never super liberal. Obviously, when I was living in New York, going to NYU, I was maybe a little more left and a little more, trying to understand some of these things that were coming up as it pertains to LGBT. But now I don't care to please anyone, and I just speak my mind. And when it comes to Zoran Mamdani, I think he's a pretty scary figure because he's a really effective communicator. He can smile in your face, kind of like Gavin Newsom does, but he's actually stabbing you in the back and ruining your life in the meantime. I think Zoran Mamdani also was really good with social media. And as someone, who worked on social media and comms on a campaign, you go to TikTok, you go to these places, you tell a bunch of young people they're going to have free everything, free this, free that. Hey, they're probably going to turn out and vote for you. And that's what he did. The problem is the people that are paying their taxes, that are going to pay for all that free stuff, they're going to leave New York City. So good luck to you on that, Zoran.
Amen to that. Do you believe that folks like Mamdani, as an actual candidate, people are going to be able to cast their vote and say, yes, I choose what he stands for? Do you think that he has a different reality that maybe you and I do, that all of these policies, we feel like we understand how this ends if you start electing socialists in this country? Do you think he exists in a different reality where he thinks there's some utopia that's going to be achieved, or do you think he knows how we at least feel it will end?
I think Zoran Mamdani is out for fame, fortune, clicks, and views, because he, as a recovering theater kid myself, game knows game. Like, I can see a theater kid from a mile away. And I feel like Zoran Mamdani, he's a theater kid. He tried to hack it in a million other areas. He couldn't do that. So now he's running in New York City, where if you tell all these kids from Columbia and Harvard and these rich white women like Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City, you tell them you're going to get free this and free that, like the anti-Trump, hey, they're going to come out and vote for you. But I actually don't expect Zoran Mamdani to get anything accomplished. And it's not just that he doesn't have governing experience. He just doesn't seem that smart. Like, he's going to be able to get anything done. And the stuff he's promising these kids, I don't think he has any way of doing. I don't think as mayor of New York City, that's even in his wheelhouse or in his domain. When he was an assemblyman, he actually had a little more power to do some of that stuff with the freebies and the handouts. As mayor, from what I'm reading, he can't actually get that stuff done. But like an AOC, like a Jasmine Crockett, these Democrats, they want fame, fortune, and attention and followers. They're not actually interested in doing anything.
I wonder if that is something that the electorate is going to get tired of. I mean, all this social media stuff, people who are able to captivate, as you were talking about working in comms on a campaign, when you're able to captivate how to really, really utilize that for your benefit, the people on the other end, it's like any effective advertising, you don't really understand you're being sold something. I'm wondering if you think that the electorate is going to grow smarter than that as we become more accustomed to the way social media is, or if this is just the future, if this is the new way.
So I think the American people are the smartest people. I always trust them, and they know best. And they know what's best for their household and their families and their kids. Like I've been saying the last week with the Supreme Court decision on the LGBT books, I think parents know what's best for their kids and their household. And I think they knew in this last election with Kamala Harris. Remember, she was astroturfed all over social media. They did like that brat summer, and they did the memes and the videos, and they really made it seem like she was just this viral sensation. Well, she ended up losing every single swing state, because at the end of the day, people were like, that's great that you're viral, but we're going to vote for policies that actually help us. It's great that you can like twerk and dance and like drop it low and laugh on cue, but we actually need food on the table. And with Kamala Harris, the one thing I'll say also, and I've been talking about this the last week since the primary in New York, Kamala has, and Gavin Newsom, the Democrat Party, has the exact same policies as Zoran Mamdani. I feel like Kamala, Gavin, and Biden were just better at hiding it, because Kamala, she wanted open borders. She wanted to defund the police. She wanted taxpayer-funded surgeries for trans people. I remember that ad all over the last few weeks before the election. So Kamala has the exact same policies as Zoran Mamdani. She was just a little bit, more polished in that sense, and she'd been in the game a little bit longer. But no, I wouldn't trust any of these people.
Oh, it's a great analysis. I appreciate it. Link, you're a treasure. We appreciate you being with us. We hope you'll come back soon. You extend that invitation again.
I want to come back on Zoom. Hello. It's just Tuesdays, because I film Monday and Wednesdays. Yeah. Tuesday is my day to run around and get everything done. So I have to come back on Zoom and kick it with you guys. And thank you so much for being supportive. Thank you so much.
You bet so much. We will absolutely do that next time. Link Lauren, thank you so much.
All right, bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Link Lauren, a great podcast. A lot of recommendations coming from the YouTube chat as well to check out. Spot on with Link Lauren. Gotten the chance to make this really great, awesome podcast because of Megyn Kelly. Because Megyn Kelly sees people like Link Lauren as giving them platforms to be successful and propping them up and then letting them, take it and run with it. And Link, truly, I met him when I was at the White House, and there's all these people buzzing around at the White House, in the press room, around the area, just outside the press room where you see a lot of those people do stand-up interviews at the White House. And everyone's got a job to do. It's not like a tea party where everybody's welcoming everyone. But Link was so kind to me, talked to me. I could ask him questions, and he was just an absolutely genuine, kind person. And I'm so glad he's been able to come on here. We'll get him on Zoom so you can watch him as well on the YouTube channel while you listen on 97.1 FM Talk or the Odyssey app. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show around the corner. At this point, who would you like to see as the next GOP president? J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Sarah Sanders, or someone else? RFK Jr. made a comment about Marco Rubio saying, I never really approved of him, but we'll tell you what he said after that. Next, don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Okay, it's been hot. It's been really, really miserably hot, but you're in St. Louis. You knew that was going to happen. What do you expect summer to be like in Air Comfort or in St. Louis? Air Comfort knows, and Air Comfort is ready to make sure that your comfort zone doesn't have seasons. You go into your home and you are comfortable. The air is cooled exactly to the temperature you like it. And if it's not happening in your home, you need to give Air Comfort Service a call. Maybe you need to replace that unit. We had to a few years ago. Everything in our house ended up being 20 years or so older, and that's when everything starts to out. And Air Comfort Service came and took care of that for us. Corey and the team at Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation want you to make sure you remember their name when it comes time to replace your HVAC system. Call the team at Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. And talk to them about how you can qualify for 0% financing up to 72 months. And also, they can help you learn about whatever utility rebates are available at the time and even federal tax credits. Air Comfort Service is committed to the best service and the best quality products at an affordable price. You can call them at 314-513-0091. They care about you and your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
If you love the shooting sports and you want to beat the heat this summer, go to the Range St. Louis West, the largest combined indoor range retail store and training center in the area. Mark Cox here. You're going to love the Range. They're out at 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, across from Velasquez Park. They offer training for new owners. They offer training for advanced concealed carry. You name it, they can take care of it, and they got the greatest selection in town. Check them out today online, therangeSTL.com.
Rolling hot dogs 2 for $5 on a fluffy bun. All beef hot dogs rolling in. Hurry, 'cause they're on the run. Pick your toppings anyway. Rolling to this deal. Pick your 2, big Q2. Rolling makes a meal. Mustard relish, sauerkraut. Ain't no need to scream and shout. Get 2 all beef hot dogs and a big Q for $5. Only at QT.
more than a gas station.
No matter what you're doing for July 4th, allow us to enhance your experience with music for fireworks. This is Ryan Wiggins from Wiggins America and the Annie Fry Show. This is the 5th annual Music for Fireworks starting at 8, and we will be the soundtrack to your evening.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So now we watch the House, and we see what the House is going to do with the big, beautiful bill. It's been a pretty busy, big news day. And watching that bill get passed out of the Senate, I thought I saw earlier this morning, they're like, oh, it should be passed by midnight tonight. And then it happened right before the show started here. You think Trump's going to be signing this thing on July 4th,
No,
Ryan?
No, I think, and you could be right, this could sail through, but I just don't. I think there's going to be more fighting with the House than we expect.
Oh, more than anticipated.
Yeah.
Fox News reports the House of Representatives is beginning the final legislative sprint of President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. Before the commander-in-chief signs it into law, the powerful House panel is the final gatekeeper. Before most pieces of legislation get a chamber-wide vote, it comes with after the Senate spent more than 24 straight hours considering the bill, eventually passing it along the narrowest of margins around midday Wednesday, today. Vice President J.D. Vance was on Capitol Hill to cast the tie-breaking vote. It's not clear how long the House Rules Committee meeting will go. When the panel considered the House's own version of the bill in May, Democrats introduced dozens of amendments to symbolically object to the bill and delay the process. Did you see any of the amendments that were being proposed?
I haven't seen a lot. I've been watching and trying to pay attention, but I haven't seen much substantial. I guess I should have paid more attention to the actual process instead of just reading about it, but no, I haven't.
Here's 4 Senate amendments to the bill that failed and one that passed. This is a Fox News report here. Rural hospital funding. This is something that you've heard a lot about from your senator here, Josh Hawley, talking about making sure that they're cared for. Susan Collins' amendment would have doubled funding for rural hospitals from $25 billion to $50 billion over the next 10 years. And it would have allowed a larger number of medical providers to access the funds. Quote, rural providers, especially our rural hospitals and nursing homes, are under great financial strain right now, with many having recently closed and others being at risk of closing. The amendment would help keep them open and caring for those who live in rural communities. She said that the bill was something of an olive branch to Democrats, which you don't need to please. I don't know why we would be bothering with that, who had criticized the cuts to Medicaid involved in the mega bill. Her amendment would also have raised tax rates for individuals who make more than $25 million a year and couples who make more than $50 million. Senator Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, argued Collins' amendment was merely putting a Band-Aid on an amputation. Another one that was discussed here, expanded Medicaid cuts. Senators Cornyn, Scott from Florida, and Barrasso of Wyoming pushed an amendment cutting an additional $313 billion in Medicaid funding on Monday. The base bill already cuts $930 billion in funding for Medicaid, and they wanted that extra $313. Another one that failed, boosting deductibles for teachers. Senator Kennedy had proposed an amendment that would have allowed teachers to deduct $600 in school supplies that they pay for out of pocket each year. That proposal failed 46-54. A child tax credit enhancement. Senator Bennett proposed an amendment that would have increased both the amount of availability of the child tax credit included in the mega bill. That was rejected 22-78. And the one amendment that did succeed, this is an interesting one, and I want to lean into this at some point. If we could it'd be so great to get Senator Blackburn on the show to talk about it, from Tennessee. Her measure that killed a provision in the bill that would have placed a 10-year moratorium on state AI regulations. The original version of the bill would have forced states to choose between enforcing AI regulations or accepting federal funding to expand broadband internet access. Senator Markey and Blackburn, so as a Democrat and a Republican, joined Senator Cantwell in sponsoring the amendment. The Senate passed that amendment in an overwhelming 99-1 vote. Do you know who voted against it?
Mazie Hirono.
I almost said something bad. The retiring senator from North Carolina, Tom Tillis.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. How weird.
I should have asked Brad.
Brad knew.
Yeah.
Doggone it.
So those are some of the amendments that were provided and that didn't pass and one that did. So the House will fight over it. I'd just like for them to keep. They're not going to, because that's the point of the loser has to come out and vocalize and say where they stand. Is it going to be messy? Yeah. Should it be messy? Probably.
Yeah, I think it should be messy. I mean, this process, people are talking about it being like, oh my gosh, this is such a fight and it's such a slog. Man, it should be a slog. I would say the only way that it would not be is if everybody was much more on the same page for spending cuts. But then everybody's fighting to keep what they're going to keep in it. So I don't really know how this ends up not being a fight.
That's just the way it's supposed to be. It's a process where you need to have as many voices involved in the decision-making process that you can include without eliminating the possibility that, yes, something possibly could get done. And so, I mean, you understand that it's not going to be pretty, and you just got to gird your loins, folks, as we move through this. Listen to CNN talking about the Republican Party and their feelings for Trump.
I mean, every politician would like this number here, especially to see it go up. How about compared to other presidents who were Republicans?
Yeah, it's history making. It's history making. What are we talking about here? So why don't we look back? We have all the presidents, Republican presidents, going back over the last 35, 36, 37 years. What are we talking about? GOP, who strongly approved 5 months in. Look at this. George H.W. Bush, Bush 41, 46%. Bush 43, 59. You see Trump, the first term, 53. But look at this. 63%. He beats all the other Republicans on the board here. And I was looking even back since Reagan. And get this, Donald Trump beats Ronald Reagan when it comes to the strongly approved 5 months. And of course, Reagan was coming off that high after that assassination attempt. So the bottom line is Donald Trump is making history with the Republican base. He is more beloved by this Republican base than any Republican base loved any GOP president 5 months in. It is history making.
Signed with love, CNN.
That's astounding because he's beating George W. Bush after 9/11.
Isn't it second term, though?
Oh, that's right. That's right. But he still had a pretty high approval rating. No, that was 2001 that they were quoting. So,
well, then maybe. I guess maybe into the term. I don't know how you factor in like the second term of a non-consecutive 2-term presidency. Nonetheless, folks, Donald Trump is killing it. He is doing what he said he would do. And it would appear as though the question, did you vote for this, is a yes, I did. Any regrets right now? Like, where would you land a regret?
Yeah, my one regret is that it's very typical, and you're going to hear me say it a lot, is that Trump didn't come out harder for a balanced budget. I think that if he had pushed it, it would have been more of a priority. Doesn't mean we would have gotten there, but he hasn't really talked about that much.
You'd rather him push for something that is a certain impossibility.
I would rather him attempt it.
He's talked about it. He's talked about balanced budgets.
He's said it, but he hasn't put his weight behind it.
Do you think there's a real possibility that this Congress would pass what was necessary to balance this budget this time?
Not this Congress.
Well, then why do it?
Because they would have gotten closer if he had pushed it. It's just not a priority.
Well, agree to disagree. But the president continues his leadership, and we'll see if he's able to get it done in the House. Got a mystery guest in the next hour. Don't go away.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
The Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com. Make sure that 314-993-9494, jot it down right now. You can punch it into your phone. I always send important things like that just randomly to my husband. It's just something I need to keep. And so I send it to him in a message, and he's got a phone number. He's like, what's this for? I'll tell you later. 314-993-9494. That's the number to call when you want to make sure you secure a worry-free retirement for you, for your spouse, together, your retirement together. There's a dream there, isn't there? You want to go into retirement together, feeling comfortable, feeling confident like you planned, and it's going to be executed in your hopes and dreams. It's really that simple. When you get to enjoy retirement together and know that whatever those travel plans might include, whatever your thoughts of sitting still and staying put versus traveling the world and doing the things together, you need to make sure that's secure for you, and the folks at the Retirement Key or Retirement Advisory Group can ensure that for you. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
My favorite getaway close to home is Innsbruck, just about an hour west of St. Louis, 100-plus lakes for fishing and fun, tons of hiking trails, an awesome golf course, and plenty of living options for you, either full-time or as a vacation home. And this year at Innsbruck, the new Sonnenhaus homes are available. The Tyrolean Sonnenhaus combines the modern exterior of a treehouse with the cozy interior elements of a cottage. They're amazing, and you can find out everything about the Sonnenhaus and everything else in Innsbruck by going to innsbruck-resort.com.
Lifestyles Unlimited, the education and mentoring group with a roadmap and support to help you real estate retire.
Having the consulting team, having other avenues within your whole system is what's made y'all successful. Everyone is there to guide you to be successful. So it's just up to you to get off the butt and do it.
Do it. Take action today. Get educated now at Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for $297, a 60% savings. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Job done. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from Senate Majority Leader John Thune after passage of a sweeping bill to advance the Trump agenda, sending it back to the House, where the president expects quick package.
The House is set to take up the Senate-passed version of the Republican tax and spending bill tomorrow. President Trump is predicting success.
It's a great bill. There is something for everyone, and I think it's going to go very nicely in the House. Actually, I think it will be easier in the House than it was in the Senate.
Vice President J.D. Vance was needed to cast a tie-breaking Senate vote after 3 Republicans opposed the measure, joining every Democrat. House Speaker Mike Johnson is aiming to meet a July 4th deadline set by the president for final approval. Critics argue changes in Medicaid spending could throw millions of people off the health insurance.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Over 10 years, the Congressional Budget Office says the bill would increase the federal deficit by more than $3 trillion. The Trump administration says those estimates don't include the bill's impact on economic growth. Stephen Myron chairs the Council of Economic Advisors and tells Fox.
So the president knows the best way to create jobs, the best way to boost wages is to create an economic boom, an environment in which businesses just want to hire as many people as they can. And that's what this bill does.
Some House conservatives aren't happy with changes made in the Senate, adding more spending. Freedom Caucus Chair Andy Harris says some Republicans plan to oppose moving to a final vote tomorrow, allowing time to negotiate. One bipartisan Senate amendment blocked a plan to temporarily stop states from regulating artificial intelligence.
Supporters had argued because AI technology is rapidly evolving, having states hyper-regulate it could have national security implications.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on the Hill. Critics argued that provision would have trampled on states' rights. One electric vehicle advocacy group urging the House to revise the current bill's end of a tax credit on new EV sales and leases. America is listening to Fox News.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
For the first afternoon of July, our weather is spectacular. Lots of sunshine, less humid. 87 for the high. These are bonus days in the summertime. Tonight, clear skies, spectacular evening. 67 for the overnight low. Wednesday, sunny and 89. The heat and humidity slowly build back on Thursday. It's hot and humid on the 4th of July. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show Live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
A new survey out shows that 45% of high school graduates now say two or 4 year colleges are the most likely next step, whereas 38% say they are now considering trade or technical schools.
Yeah, it's so interesting. That's actually not a bad number, 38%. There's a lot of things going on here. One, the price of college is so high, and kids are just saying, you know what, I don't want to have that debt. And they're also looking at the economic future and saying, you know, this is, I don't know if I can ever pay that back, and I don't know if I'll get a job if I spend $60,000, $40,000 a year for a 4-year university.
And then what do you get when you get the job after that? Like, what is the going rate after you pay $40,000, $60,000 a year for college? Oh man, that's steep, very steep. 45% say that they have a 2 to 4 year college plan in their future, and 38% say trade or technical school. I think this is exciting information.
Yeah, I do too. This is a shift in sentiment, because this is, I don't know, growing up, it was never considered, I don't want to say never an option, but it just wasn't presented to you as a viable option. It was like you had to seek it out yourself. Hopefully that is what's changed, is that this is being presented as, hey, look, this is a very good career path for you.
It's a very good one. Why? Because not as many people are doing it, meaning the pay is going to go up. I talk to a lot, especially at the retirement advisory group things that seminars that I go to, of people who are looking to retire, and they're in the trades. They are still doing trade work, and it's physical labor, and they're, you know, in their late 50s, maybe in their 60s. They're kind of tired of doing it, but the money that is getting thrown at them is so astronomical that they keep going, but they're ready to retire because there aren't new people coming in. If you were going to do a trade, what would you be good at, Ryan?
Hammering. I would be the
Hammering
hammer
what?
guy.
Hammering. Root beer?
No, that's ridiculous. I would just carry around a hammer, and I'd just sort of keep walking around being like, you got any nails? No, okay, you good? Just asking, you know.
Your trade would be hammering random nails?
Yeah. Because people leave nails out too much.
Is there money in that?
I don't know. I assume there is, because it's a trade.
Is it?
I think. This is my understanding of the trades.
Carpentry.
It's not super deep, but I feel like I got a pretty good grasp of it.
If you had to build a table, could you do it?
How many legs does a table usually have?
Depends on the table.
Because if it's two,
could have
then
3.
yes.
Your limit is 2 legs?
After that, I don't know what to do.
I don't. Yeah, beyond
You just
two.
do the same thing again.
Just build 2 tables with 2 legs and then connect them.
I see the problem.
Could you build a table if you needed to?
Hear me out.
It's really what it's about, Ryan.
The problem is that once you get you have two legs on a table, it's going to sit no matter what. You put a third one down, it's got to be the same length. Because the 2, it's just going to sit. 3 legs, 4 legs, they all got to be the same length.
I would not hire you as a carpenter.
Well, that's why I'm not a carpenter.
If you put 2 legs on a table, it's not necessarily going to sit.
If you balance it right, maybe you lean it against a wall.
No.
But you get what I'm saying.
No. I'm very tempted to take calls right now. In fact, if anyone has any advice for Ryan, I will open the phones, but someone's calling already. I haven't even given the numbers.
Dang.
314-241-9797. You could just call and comment on Ryan.
Somebody call in and explain to Annie what I'm saying, because I feel like it's so obvious. If you make a table with 2 legs, that no matter what, they're going to sit on the ground. Now, the table may be uneven, but it's going to sit on the ground. You add a third leg, and that one's got to be the same length.
No, it doesn't. It's whatever your silly proposition is here, it's reinforced with the third leg.
I don't know. You know what? Now that I'm considering it, it's once you get to 4, because the 3 would probably still sit, but it's that 4th one.
No,
I think so. No,
No.
I think we've reached our apex here.
I think people have reached the conclusion as to why you're in radio.
What? That's fairly obvious.
I don't know if it has been.
I'm sharing what I've learned. That's all. What else could I do?
You're so full of crap. I can't even dignify this fake conversation with a response. There are folks out there who feel sorry for you right now. Don't say that. You watch your language.
Oh, they're calling in, aren't they?
What would your trade be, Brad?
I think it would be auto collision or auto repair.
Crashing cars?
What's that?
Auto collision, crashing
Auto
cars?
collision repair, fixing cars that have been broken.
I could do the wreck part.
Yeah, Ryan would keep me in business.
I think that would be a more successful endeavor than hitting random nails.
That's how he's wrecking
and
them.
advocating for 2-legged tables.
You just walk around a construction site and you just ask. You
Danny,
guys need anything?
Danny needs to talk. Let the man talk. Danny, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. You there, Danny? Go ahead.
Hello?
Yep. You teach at a trade school?
Yeah. Actually, it's Kenny.
Oh, Kenny, I'm sorry. Kenny, would you take on Ryan Wiggins as a student?
I don't know. It sounds kind of sketchy. Because did he say collision repair?
That was what Brad's ended up saying afterwards. Ryan wants to build 2-legged tables because the third leg would have to be the same length as the others.
He'd have to work. He'd have to put a gyroscope under it so it would balance.
Yeah.
But besides that,
I mean, duh.
How do you? How is trade? Shut up, Ryan. Don't disrespect Kenny.
You act like I've never heard of a gyroscope.
Kenny, how is our kids enrolling? Or I guess they're probably young adults. Are they enrolling in trade schools with a little more frequency these days?
yes, I teach school, and it's a high school program, juniors and seniors, and we have like 25 different programs, and they range anywhere from nursing to vet tech to welding to collision repair, which is what I teach.
Okay.
It really ranges.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of full programs. There's more and more people signing up every year because it's a very good choice.
It's a lucrative career to get into these days, as I understand it, too, because people haven't been doing it, and so employees would be well sought after.
Yes, and students usually, when they get out of high school, it's like, okay, now what do I do now? And with us, they have...
Oh, crap, I think we lost him. Well, Kenny, thank you for calling. And he said, what? How did he refer to you? You need a lot of help?
He was just trying to explain a gyroscope. We all use a gyroscope.
Matt, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on the trade school shift among young folks looking for a career?
Matt, you talking to me?
Yeah, Matt, I'm talking to you.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, man.
Wow. Okay. I got to talk to you. Hey, listen, both my boys went to Job Corps. They didn't want to go to school as far as college because they didn't want the debt. So they went to Job Corps and both learned a trade. One's an operator, one's a tree trimmer. He runs a crew on a union outfit, and they're both making, I think, roughly $30+ an hour.
Oh, my gosh. That's like
they're
almost
making
radio
great money.
That's
you know what I mean?
fantastic.
So,
Yeah.
Job Corps is awesome. It's like, they take them, they feed them, they water them, they give them a place to live, they teach them a trade, and it's all government funded and everything. It's great.
Matt,
great.
Thank you for listening to the show. Thanks for calling in.
Oh, yeah. Let's do you every day. You're awesome. All you guys.
Thank you. Even Ryan?
Yep. Ryan's cool, man.
Oh.
Yeah, Matt. Hey, you're cool, too.
Thanks, Dad.
Right on.
Thanks, Matt.
Y'all have a good day.
You too. I will now.
That's fantastic. They feed you, they water you. What else do you need?
Like a pet. a
Like
pet
a
that
plant.
provides for itself. No, I love that energy.
I do, too.
Matt should call every day.
I don't even know some of the programs that he was talking about, but I'm sold.
Someone goes, isn't radio a trade? Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, you could go to trade school for radio.
You can, but I didn't.
Well. Nope. Glenn, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show.
Yes, I was going to comment on the table with the 2 legs, 3 legs, or 4 legs.
Please.
If you had a table with 2 legs, it would have to be perfectly balanced, or it would fall over again, like you said, without leaning on something. A table with 3 legs will stand because it has a balancing point on the 3rd leg. And a table with 4 legs, they would all need to be the same length for it to sit on all 4.
See, like that's what you said?
No kidding.
Ryan, he's talking to you.
Glenn, but that's the position that I eventually got to. As somebody who's not in the trades, somebody who's very learned, though, I will take in information and I will adjust as I go. And I got to the same place as you just described.
And being an old farm boy, just one example would be milking stools back when farmers milked cows by hand.
Yeah.
Because you had uneven concrete, your milking stools, and even some mechanics creepers or mechanic stools have 3 so that they balance and roll over and won't fall over.
Glenn, thank you for the phone call. We appreciate you.
That's why I prefer 3 legs. That's why I prefer 3 legs.
Are you an expert at milking?
No, but I take in all this information. And it comes on the other side. We all learn. We always say, don't we always say?
Don't say we. Whatever happens next, don't predicate it with we.
Don't we always say on the Annie Fry Show before we start the show, you got to learn something new every day. We always say that.
We've never said that.
At 12:01, we're like, the intro's playing. All right, let's learn something new today. And I just did from Glenn. Shh. About 3 legs.
Gonna take one more phone call. Tiffany, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. You have some experience with trade school?
I do not personally.
Mm-hmm. Do you have
but my son has didn't go to college. I did. I have my bachelor's degree in psychology, and he is a pest control man and is making more money than I ever did with my degree.
Smart mom for encouraging that. Did they choose? Is that what they wanted to do? Did it find them? Did they seek it out?
It found them. It was his summertime job, and it found him, and he realized college was not for him, and he's been with them for 7 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations for making the folks like your son who are doing this now, they're getting a jump on a lot of people. I think the pendulum's going to continue to sway this way, but good for them. Thanks for
25 and manager.
Oh, wonderful. Tiffany, thank you for the phone call. Thanks for listening. Anything else you want to add?
I just like that story because it sounded like a real love story between a man and a career that he didn't even know that he loved at first, but then eventually he did.
You're so ridiculous. We have a big mystery guest coming in here.
You complete me.
Point.
Your son probably said to Pest Control.
Point Pest Control. I don't know that he works for Point Pest Control, but I kind of do. They were at my house today. I mean, I look at these people. When you're at your home and folks come over and they're, doing their job, but they're out and about and they're driving around and they're not a slave to a desk in some, stuffy type of job that's unfulfilling, I'm always like, this exists too. You could do this. And now it's I think it's always been a good paying, reliable job, but even more so now because I think there are political reasons why we have pushed college so much, and the way it's changed so much. It's not been at the betterment of the people who go there. All right.
And if you feel like your job is kind of stuffy right now, you can call Air Comfort Service.
I have them on speed dial on my phone.
Yeah, so because, if things are kind of stuffy, you could call them.
Are you being paid by Air Comfort Service?
No, but
you would.
You'd
take the money. All right, at 2:30, we're going to play X's and Y's. It's a new thing we're going to be doing on Tuesdays at 2:30. And we have one Hannah Gibbs coming in to join us for X's and Y's today. We're so excited to have her back in the studio. So stick around. Hannah's going to be back in studio with us here in about 12 minutes. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
CiviaLaw.com. Todd Civia is traveling the bi-state region, making sure people are educated on what their options are, on how to prepare for changes that occur in life. I mean, these are things, they're going to happen. You're going to get married. You're going to have kids. You're going to get a little bit older. Maybe you're going to acquire property or assets. Maybe you are going to experience a loved one's passing. Maybe you are going to experience divorce. All of these things, they're part of life, and you need to be prepared to navigate these transitions with ease. Todd Civia is the one to help you do that. If you were one of the first 10 people right now to call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. The first 10 people to call 833-995-WILL. Free strategy session for you. That is a $300 value that you are not going to have to take care of. They're going to take care of it for you. And you can start the conversation about a will, a trust, powers of attorney, all of those important and very, very important things that you need to have in place. Todd Civia in Missouri and Illinois can help you get in place. 833-995-WILL, CiviaLaw.com.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Trust fund babies, Brooklyn loft, by the bathroom. You said let's talk, but my confidence is wearing off. Well, these are my people, these are my friends. She grabbed my face and that's when she said, I like that you're broken like me. Maybe that makes me a fool. I like that you're lonely like me. I could be
Hold up!
Check it out.
Mega Muffins, mostly manic musings.
You know, if you were going to pick one to use again,
Yeah?
I guess that one's okay.
Mega Muffin?
I like that one.
Yeah, because it has literally nothing to do with anything.
It doesn't say your name.
Doesn't say my name. It doesn't tell us what it's about.
Nothing.
It's literally just, it's like one of those random word generators. That's what it is, Ryan said. I'm just going to put in 4 random words, and this is what we ended up with.
So we got a local news segment every day at 2:20 with Ethan. What do you got for us today from around here?
Around here specifically. Well, first off, if you ever have any local stories that you've seen, you're like, this would be good for Ethan, be sure to tweet at me or post at me on X or DM me at echan7 at ECHANN7. Annie, well, I guess all of you, really, all you Illinoisans.
Yeah.
Not the first time we've had this conversation. Have you guys seen all the tax increases in Illinois that are starting today?
Hit them with it. July 1st is not a fun day. It's not like the July day you feel freedom in the state of Illinois.
Get ready to get depressy. Illinois record $55.2 billion budget includes 5 new taxes, including an increase of 1.3 cents per gallon to 48.3 cents on gas.
Wow.
Sports betting tax, 25 to 50 cents per wager, depending on the sports book. Tobacco products tax, this will include existing 36% tax will rise to 45%. A telecommunication tax, existing 7% tax will rise to 8.65. And
that's high. The other ones I'm like, okay, but that one that's crazy. Say that again, 8.5%. Is it
it's going from
tax?
7% to 8.65.
For consumers?
Which tax is it?
This is the telecommunication.
I think it's on your, isn't that on your phone bill?
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Going back to the gas one, I saw a lot of conversation about this happening on social media in various places, but it's 48 cents. I think it's 48 cents and change that the gas tax is now in Illinois. A reminder to people. I saw somebody say this, and this I rarely comment on these types of things in Facebook groups that are like within my community because I just don't need to do that. But the person said, of course the taxes are coming up. Donald Trump's cut all of the funding to Illinois, and now they have. I'm like, it was passed in 2019.
Yeah, that's insane.
In 2019, the J.B. Pritzker, new to the governorship at that point, he led a supermajority of Democrats to pass a budget that doubled the gas tax in 2019 to 38 cents per 38 cents per gallon. So they took the gas tax that would be 19 cents a gallon, right? They took 19 cents, doubled it to 38, and then they said, oh, and in perpetuity, forever and ever, amen, we're going to add a cent to that every year on July 1st. And here we are. So anybody who wants to suggest that these taxes are to compensate for some way, shape, or form because Elon Musk and Donald Trump have doged the money away from the state of Illinois, nah, that's not the way it went. 2019,
it's also such
folks.
a stupid argument. It's still tax money. Like, well, it's just coming from the federal government instead of
people
state.
in these comments are literally like saying things like, I don't care how high taxes are. They need to take care of the roads, and they do. And I'm like,
no.
They had to fix a bridge just recently because it was falling apart on cars.
Yes, that was right by where I live.
That was, yeah, like shut down a major highway and make everything around it. The 5570 bridge that goes over 157 had to close for 17 days because it was crumbling on the cars below it.
You could just see through it.
You could see through the bridge.
And we drive under it and you go, hey, look, there's the sky where a bridge is supposed to be. It was just open.
Thank God for the taxes in the state of Illinois.
It's and then just emergency.
Yeah,
is how they're fixing things. That's it's crazy.
Oh, and one more. There's also
and another one.
Hotel tax on short-term rentals. So 6% hotel tax added to those short-term rentals.
So if you wanted to travel to Illinois for some reason,
who would live in Illinois? Idiots.
Who would buy land and build a house in Illinois? That's what I want to know.
Only the morons.
Crazy. Can't believe anyone would do that. Oh, anyway. Love you, Annie.
Thank you. Love you back.
So we're going to switch to the Missouri side and talk badly about Missouri now. St. Louis
in my
building ranks among.
You're like Harry Enton. Trump's doing really well. Tomorrow, find out how he's not.
St. Louis building ranks among world's tallest vacant towers, according to Business Insider. So everyone knows the AT&T building, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of become one of the more well-known buildings, I feel like, in St. Louis. And unfortunately, it's become well-known in recent years for a bad reason. It's been vacant, and it now appears as one of the tallest abandoned buildings in the world. It is the 8th tallest vacant building across the entire globe.
What does Illinois and the city of St. Louis have in common? Well, let's just think about it. I don't know what the answer is. I can't. There's a river that separates them, but I don't know if there's.
It's not geography.
If it's like latitude, I know that's probably not it because it's varying. We'll get back to it.
Can we sit in silence for
630
feet?
You know, if you're driving through St. Louis and you see all the opportunity that exists and just the absolute lack of interest in pursuing it, it's so sad. I was at the Cardinals game last week, in that really crappy game against the Cubs, and I was sitting there looking at the beautiful skyline, and I was sitting pretty close to behind home plate, 200 level, and I could see, is it the courthouse that you can see through there? And I just thought, like, I was sitting there because the baseball was so bad that day. It's been good overall, but that day it was bad. I was just trying to picture sitting in those seats as a visitor to St. Louis because my husband and I will travel to these other stadiums. We've gone to Cleveland, and I just loved everything about it's Progressive Field, right? Isn't that what it's called?
In Cleveland, yes.
And Pittsburgh, boy, what a setting that is in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. And I was like, what would it be like to come sit here? And this is your exposure to St. Louis. And I was just thinking, it's so beautiful. And then I saw the Millennium Building up there, and I'm like, oh, they got rid of the trees that were growing out of the top of it for the skyline. That's nice. I mean, there are just like opportunities that exist all around us. And if you're familiar with the city, you know that. But they just sit. Nobody's flocking to it. Somebody could flip a switch, I feel like, and make people flock here. It'd be awesome.
Let's see. It's been vacant since 2017. I didn't realize it had been that long.
The AT&T building?
8 years now.
Are the other 7 ahead of it in China?
A couple of them are in China, one in New Orleans, one in New York City, one in L.A.
Gosh, that's terrible. It's
What?
all U.S. and China.
They all have, what do they have in common?
They're U.S. and China. That's terrible.
Before we quickly wrap here, I had mentioned a couple of days ago that things could get interesting for the Blues in the next couple of days just because we were nearing a free agency and whatnot. The Blues did make a pretty big trade this morning. They traded forward Zach Bolduc, who was really impactful for them down the stretch during their big run at the end of last season. So they traded him to Montreal for Logan Mailloux. He's a right-handed defenseman, so that will be interesting. A lot of fans aren't very happy with it because it's a little bit of a risk for the Blues because...
How do you feel about it?
It's a risk, right? I mean, the Blues are light on right-handed defensemen, so and they have a lot of depth at the wing. So if Mailloux ends up being a solid piece, then it could be a good addition. But Montreal did add a really good winger in Zach Bolduc. They also signed centerman Nick Bugstad to a 2-year, $1.75 AAV $1 million deal this afternoon as well. So things are happening right now for the Blues. We'll have to wait and see if they do anything else. But a couple of moves so far in to start free agency for them.
Those guys they balance well, right? You call them kind of gyroscope players.
God dang
Define gyroscope players for
I
me,
let
Ryan.
you have that comment. I was going to wrap, and Ryan thought he wants to say something about the Blues. So I should let you have it.
Confirmed sports guy, Ryan Wiggins.
Self-confirmed.
I can talk about any subject.
You've proven that you can talk about it.
What about X's and Y's?
Next with Hannah. How excited are you to see Hannah back in the studio, Ryan?
Very.
Very?
Yes.
Hannah or Ethan? Ethan, are you staying in?
This is like a combination of the two worlds.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Everybody, come join us. Say hi on the Annie Fry YouTube channel to Hannah. She's going to join us in studio. We need your X's and Y's questions. What's the thing you always wanted to know about the opposite sex? Of course, Hannah coming in here to answer for the ladies with me, and then we've got the boys. What are your questions? Hit us up in the comments on the YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X @AnnieFryShow.
So infinite-vitality.com, that's the website you can go to right now, and you can research all of these things. I'm going to say something here. It's going to tip you off to like, ooh, that's me, and you're going to want to know more, and you can learn more at infinite-vitality.com. I want to talk to you about weight loss. I want to talk to you about the guidance you need to positively look forward to reinvigorating yourself to how you used to feel. And I think that that's really one of the hardest thing about aging is you still know what it used to be like. You still have that sense of the energy that you used to have that you don't have, the drive that you used to have that you're not experiencing right now. You're putting in the work. You're probably putting in more work. You're watching more of what you eat. You're working harder at the gym, or you're taking those walks. You're being deliberate about it, and it's just not paying off the way it used to. Infinite-vitality.com. I am in the middle of hormone replacement therapy myself at Infinite Vitality, and I invite you to go have the same conversations I have. In 4 weeks or so of doing this, I have experienced dramatic changes in my energy level, in my ability to focus, in my ability to make it, get up in the morning and be awake and fall asleep at night. Basically, being awake when I'm supposed to be awake and being asleep when I'm supposed to be asleep. Infinite-vitality.com for the information that you need to know, and you can give them a call. Do not forget to mention my name, because you're going to save $50 on hormone therapy and weight loss services. 618-486-1888. 618-486-1888. Again, infinite-vitality.com.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade.
Dana Carvey.
Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall.
Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big-name celebrities.
And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the first ever Brendan Donovan charity clay shoot happening Thursday, August 7th at Strathelbin Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinals standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebs for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Don't wait. Sponsorships and shooter spots are going fast. Visit teamrwb.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who've served. 97.1 FM Talk, backing our veterans every step of the way.
We have a secret guest here who's not a secret anymore. It's Hannah Gibbs. So you should tune in and not only listen to, listen to the next segment, but also
Hannah will show you how to do these here off the air if you're struggling a little bit.
I am.
She's a professional,
You know all the taxes on all the tobacco they're going up in Illinois? That's going to hit hard.
Are you good? Do you want me to finish this for you?
Hey, Hannah, you want to finish?
I can't. She can't.
All right. 2:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show, especially you, Hannah. Welcome back to the 97.1 studio.
Yeah, home. I will call this home gladly. I'm so happy to be back. Is my mic on? I can't hear myself.
Yeah. Is it?
Welcome back.
Here. Nope, it's way over there. That's why.
Okay, there we are.
So Hannah was our associate producer until when? When did you leave?
August of 2023.
It's been a minute.
It's
that
been,
long?
It's been
Dear
a hot
God.
minute. Yeah, I know. But my heart is forever here with the Annie Fry Show.
So I remember when Hannah first started working in the building, you had done KMOX stuff, and you came over and filled in over here. And did I pull you in the first day?
My first shift over here on 97.1, I instantly met Annie.
Yeah.
I don't even think I was working on your shift either.
That's how I do things here. I'm like, hey, you come in the studio, talk to us. And the rest is history. We had such a good time working with Hannah. And as generally is the case, you're in an associate producer position and you get scooped up because you're talented. Ethan's probably on that path, and we're just counting the days until he leaves us for something better than us. Are you excited for it? Your future's bright.
I love my time here at the Annie Fresh Show.
Excellent response.
What a professional. So now you are, co-host of the morning show on Y98?
Yes, I am the co-host there. Love it.
And on the Brett Mega Show. And recently, Hannah has had some really exciting news along with the rest of the Brett Mega Show on Y98. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yes, our show is now being played across the country in some different markets. We got picked up, and for me, that was always my goal in radio, was to become syndicated, for lack of better words. So I'm very, very blessed, and I will always remember my time here on the Annie Fry Show. You guys taught me everything I know. You built the foundation of radio for me, so I miss it here.
Ryan?
My goal, conversely, is to be heard by as few people as possible.
Well...
So we're both successful.
So we wanted to invite you back, and the morning schedule. Are you accustomed to the morning hours?
I am accustomed to the morning hours. I think I will be for life. I went on vacation a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't sleep in past 5.
5? Oh man,
that's
terrible.
Yeah, my weekends will never be the same. My nightlife will never be the same. But yeah.
Well, we're excited for you. You've done really, really wonderful things since you left us here, and we never doubted it at all. And we thought, well, let's see if she's got some time in the afternoon to come say hi to us and participate in X's and Y's.
X's and Y's.
So that is a wonderful piece of production there by Ryan Wiggins, who's going to kick it off. This is a segment where we will ask each other across the sexes questions that we've always wanted to know the answers to. Ryan?
Why do girls care so much about their fingernails and their toenails and crap?
Well said.
Well, for me, I really don't care. If you know me, you know my anxiety tick is to pick at my fingernails, so I have quite literally the ugliest hands ever. So I am not one who cares about that.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Look at I have nubs.
I have nubs, she said.
But you're saying that as you're like, ugh. Like you're ashamed of it and you're hiding.
I'm showing the live stream right now.
What do you think? Like,
I just don't get what girls like. Why girls like having
pretty things,
nice nails and toenails, and do you think that guys care about that?
I think that guys like painted nails and manicured and pedicured nails. I think they like it. I don't think that it's a game. Like, I don't think it's a. I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to be with a man who is like, your nails aren't really cutting it for me. So
your nails are like flesh colored. That's gross.
I think women like nice, pretty things, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. And I think every individual woman manifests that in different ways. So it might be in your handbag. Or you might be a woman who doesn't care about your handbag at all. I don't care. My wallet is literally on the back of my phone. It might be in your nails. It might be in your clothes.
Sequined fanny pack.
That's
for
yours.
Some, yeah.
Yes. You're the fanny pack person in this room,
Do you think, I mean, you're still in the scene. Do you think guys care about that, though?
No, I don't really think that's something they notice, but I think for a lot of the women who do like to get their nails done, it's just a way for them to feel more put together. So, yeah.
But are nails easier to do than makeup and everything else?
Actually, no. It's a lot of maintenance, and it's pretty expensive if you go get them done.
And if you get nails put on your nails, it destroys your actual nails.
Really?
The only reason why I got gel, I was getting gel manicures before COVID, and then until it stopped, and then I quit. So like everybody else, that was really something to behold. In COVID, all the people who had all the things done who couldn't get those things done, and everybody slowly deteriorated before your eyes.
We found out a lot about people.
A lot of secrets being born out there. Yeah. I mean, my nails took a year to recover.
Wow.
Because they'll like shave down the top of your nail, file down the top of your nail so that the new
hurts.
nail will. It literally is painful.
Gosh, that even adds more to my wife.
Beauty hurts, Ryan. That's why you're never in pain.
Let me counter your question. Why don't men care more about how specifically their toenails look?
You know what? I'll back this one. I actually agree with you.
Have you gotten a pedicure before?
No, I haven't gotten a pedicure.
Would you?
I wouldn't be against it, but I don't think I'd be the one that's like, oh, and I'm going to go actively spend money on my toenails.
Yeah.
But there's a difference, right, between actively doing that and just taking care of yourself and
grooming.
Like, yeah, we don't need to get back into that subject.
We
But
talked about you the other day, Hannah. About
that's
what?
a really
Grooming?
dangerous. You went.
We did a whole. Sorry,
We
Ethan.
did a whole segment on grooming, and then you say,
We
Hannah,
talked
we
about
talked
you.
about you the other day.
Just wait. Was it an X's and Y's conversation?
It was not billed that way, but it got there.
We were talking about something about men caring about women's. It was a Wiggins America thing, and you were saying about how a man shouldn't care more about a woman's grooming because women don't care about men's grooming or something. Like we were talking about particular grooming habits of women.
Okay.
And then Ethan jumped in and he's like, what'd you say? Something to the effect of like, I don't groom at all. I don't care about any of that stuff. Halfway through, he's like, wait, what are we talking about?
Oh, I've had a couple of those moments here.
I was like, wait, I got to walk it back. I got to save myself.
Because Ethan's dad texted him. It's like, son.
Dude, he's like, dude, what are you talking about?
We talked about when Hannah said, I think we're all conceited.
Yeah.
I said something about getting lucky on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes! That's what it was. I brought it up and I couldn't remember exactly.
That is right.
Yeah.
I think that's on a YouTube poll. So my question to the boys is, would you get a pedicure, or why do you think that the presentation of your bare feet, like if your bare feet are going to be exposed, and unless you never go to like a pool or a beach or something, they're going to be exposed. Why don't men care more?
First of all, I have gotten a pedicure as a joke, and it was fun and it was nice.
And you got a bumblebee.
Yeah, I knew it was
You
different
remember?
colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was black and yellow, alternate toes.
Black and yellow, black and
And I was
yellow.
like, hey, it looked like a bumblebee toe. But I would say the only practical reason that a man would ever get long nails added to his feet or hands would be to climb up buildings.
To his feet.
Don't. No additions. Just manicured.
I've thought about getting long nails so I could climb buildings.
Thank you for your assist. He's just making up crap. So
he probably would.
Ethan, you think that men could do a better job?
Yeah, I think so.
Brad, what do you think?
About their toenails? Yeah, the guys could do it. Yeah. A lot of
Sometimes
people
you're
could
like,
do a
oh
lot
my
better
God,
job.
dude, put those things away.
I don't
put the
like
dogs
to look
away,
at,
bro.
I don't like to
Dogs are
look
barking.
at. Yeah, I don't like to look at people's feet, but whenever I notice it, and that means it's really bad. Yeah, guys, do something about that.
Brad, you got another question?
Yeah. So I was in Madison, and Morgan Wallen was in Madison, and this kind of came up as we were sitting in the hotel. Hotel rooms were at a premium, and this lady came in, and she looked really nice. She was really lovely. She had a dress on, and, I would have assumed she was concert ready. And she was frustrated because her hotel room got canceled, and she didn't know it. And she's like, I could go back home, but I still need to get ready before I go to the concert. And I'm curious of, what does that mean? Because I thought she was concert ready already.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell because I don't know what she looked like, but I always
Just
like.
trust.
let's
Brad
just
is saying
pretend
she was a dime,
Yeah,
all right?
let's-
That's what he's saying.
Or she's really rough, and she just did the best she could. Somewhere in the middle.
Well, that's kind of a hard question
She
to
looked all right. Her
answer.
toes were gross.
She had gnarly feet, but the rest of her was
Like,
great.
This
she
poor
didn't
woman.
look underdressed for a concert or anything like that. She looked like she was prepared and ready to walk
But the
in the
question
gates.
is, how long does it take to get ready for a concert?
What does it mean she still needs to get ready for the concert? Like how much more do you
what
need to
else
get?
needs to happen if
Yes.
you look like you're already dressed
well,
to be
the thing
ready
about
for the
you
day?
men is you don't realize
See,
all
this is
the
why we had her, because she'd say something like, you men.
Yeah.
Go on.
You boys, you don't know all the
Downgrade.
work it takes to look a certain way. Like, you probably think, oh, wow, she's not wearing makeup when she probably is. Or that, women's hair is naturally straight or naturally curly. I mean, there's a lot of work we got to be put in. So she might have had no makeup on or anything, and you thought that she looked great, but she wanted to go home and put on concealer and deodorant for the first time today.
Okay.
So
So it could be
guys
something
don't
as
know the
simple
work.
as that. It doesn't have to be this whole big thing. Maybe it's just, I need to freshen up.
Did she smell?
No.
Did you
Her
smell
feet
her?
probably
Do you know?
smell terrible.
Yeah, how do you know?
Well, she
Were her
didn't smell
toes
because I
painted?
couldn't smell her.
How hard did you try?
Let's take a quick break. We'll do more X's and Y's when we come back. If you have a question you want the ladies, myself and Hannah, to answer, you can put that in the comments, as well as the boys. We've got Brad, Ethan, and Ryan in here to speak for men. So join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Come say hi to Hannah and vote in the YouTube live chat poll question. At this point, who would you like to see as the next GOP president? Vance, Rubio, Sarah Sanders, or maybe someone else? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. The only place you can get a bagel loan is with Stewie at 314-324-4440. You can get rid of closing costs with the mortgage that you acquire from Stewart's American Mortgage. You can get a new mortgage this way. You can do a refinance. And I just got a message from Stewie today, and he said rates are dropping. So if you've been thinking right now about getting in the market, jumping in, maybe doing a refinance if you got a new home when rates were like super highs, now might be a good time to contact Stewie and just see what the market is laying out for you. He will guide you. He will help you make the best decision for you. And all you got to do is call or text this number, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie's going to take your call. He's going to listen to what your situation and circumstance is, and he's going to provide you with the response that you need to hear as well as likely want to hear, because that bagel loan, it's one of the best deals in town. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan for more information on Stewart's American Mortgage. NMLS number 226715.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. The big, beautiful bill moves forward back to the House. It was a 50-50 tie vote. J.D. Vance had to break the tie. We'll have the very latest on all of that and more coming up here after Fox News at 3. Hang in there.
This is our job. You're listening to the Annie Fry Show.
All right, we're doing a little X's and O's, or X's and Y's, excuse me. We'll get a couple more questions before Ethan gives us the results on the YouTube live chat poll. Hannah is in studio with us, our dear Hannah, who is now on the morning show with Y98 and syndicated across the country. Good to have you back, Hannah.
Yay, so happy to be here.
Ryan, you want to ask another X's and Y's question?
Sure. A couple weeks ago, we were looking for more questions, Brad and I, because we're not very good at these things because we don't think about other people.
So you asked a woman.
So I went to Julie Tristan of
Yes.
KZK.
Yes.
And I said,
she should come join us.
Give us some good questions that we should ask that you would like to know about men or we should know about women.
Mm-hmm.
And she said this, and I just want to run it by the room.
Okay.
Compliments cover all sins.
She's just saying that's
she just said
a principle.
That's a principle that works for women.
Hannah, you agree with that?
I'll let you go first.
That's a no.
All sins?
I'm not.
You don't have to take it as
come
gospel.
on, but you're so pretty.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that's fine then.
You're pretty.
No.
Well,
not that
then,
naive. You can't just be forgiven.
How far does it
as
go,
a
though?
compliment. Not far.
Really?
No.
Is there a specific compliment that can, because I feel like, but you're so pretty. That's obviously
If it's
super
anything
general.
like-
What would hit for you, Hannah, where you're like,
It would
okay,
have
that's
to be
going
something about my character, like, oh, wow, you remind me of your grandma, or something that would be, like, really meaningful to my
like,
heart.
what if it's like, you're more beautiful inside than you are out? Like, would that?
Well, that would just
feel
mean I'm
like,
ugly.
Yeah, it's an insult, Ethan. We know you're trying.
That would mean I was ugly.
You
So.
seen that Hannah from Y98? She could probably build a solid table. That's a compliment.
Brian, shush. Shush.
Probably one of those three-leggers.
Do you feel like compliments is a get out of jail free card?
I don't know. I'm not opposed to it.
Do you compliment people?
Actually, yes. I do compliment people, and I'm very genuine about it.
Really?
You're not even genuine right now.
But I am when I give a real one. And I'm like, listen. And people are like, whoa, what's about to happen? And then I tell them something real nice.
What kind of compliments do you give?
Yeah.
Usually something about somebody's character or like their
grandma,
their ability to work in the trades.
Brad, what do you think? Can you cover all sins with compliments?
Not a chance. It's not even close for me. I don't try to compliment people because it would feel so disingenuous coming the other way that I always try to put myself in their position. So if I mess up, my goal really is just to apologize for messing up. I didn't mean to do it. So I think that works way better than saying, "Oh, but you're so pretty."
It'd probably work with Ryan.
I was gonna say,
Ryan would be like,
if my wife was like, "You're a great broadcaster. You're amazing," I'd be like, you know what?
I honestly do think
Everything's gone. Everything else out the window.
I think women can get away with that, complimenting men.
Yeah.
A lot easier than it goes the other way.
For sure.
Do you agree?
Like, all right, yeah, sure, thanks, babe.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think you're hot.
If she comes in and says, "You're the hottest broadcaster I've ever known and has ever walked the face of the planet," I mean, like, you're good, right?
Yeah.
I also feel
I
like
think so.
men never forget compliments either. Like if I said, "Ryan Wiggins, you look amazing in that flannel. Best flannel I've ever seen." Every time you put it on, you'd be like,
"He wears it every day."
Hannah said
We don't, but it doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't happen that often.
It
That's why
stands out.
Well, wear a different shirt.
No way. Not after that compliment. In fact, I renamed it the Hannel after she said that to me just now.
If you wear that shirt to work tomorrow,
yeah,
seriously,
the flannel.
can't
the handle.
The handle.
Can't. Won't you forget things pretty quickly? If someone paid you a compliment and it felt like a real compliment, aren't you pretty good after that?
I wouldn't. No, I don't forget it. Are you saying the opposite?
The sin. If somebody is complimenting you, like it was rough, but someone comes in and gives you what you feel is a genuine compliment, don't you feel like after that moment you're good?
Yeah, probably.
You're the second hottest broadcaster I've ever met.
Oh man, they must be talking about Brad.
What about you, Brad? How much can a compliment stick after a sticky situation?
I mean, it sticks pretty good. I appreciate the compliments. Like I said, earlier, it doesn't happen all that often. Guys just don't get compliments. So whenever you get a compliment, it stands out.
Brad,
so, yeah,
you
it
just
sticks.
said a second ago that you were the one that can't get over the sin. So I feel like this is what I'm hearing right now. If you get a really nice compliment, Brad's like, really?
I'll remember it, but I'll be able to tell if it's genuine or not.
That's the thing, right? Are you just getting the compliment because you know you're in the doghouse? Or are you getting a compliment that's actually
you come at
legit?
me like right after some sort of insult or something like that, and you say, but that's not going to work. But, a little bit later, maybe I'll let you slide.
I think with a portion of men it would.
I forgive very quickly.
Yeah. Real quick, another one from Julie Tristan. You got 30 seconds.
That's the only one.
That's the only one she gave you?
That's the only one.
Didn't you say you got a whole list from her?
No, I asked her for a list, and
She gave you that. I'm not doing your work for you. Well, if you want to ask us questions that we can use, we will absolutely watch the comments and include them the next time. Hannah, will you come back?
I will come back, yes.
Thank you so
I
much.
like this game.
Yeah. And, we can ask your audience as well. A lot of followers for Hannah on social media. Where can they connect with you right now?
They can find me on Instagram, hannah.gibbs, and you can see all of my show's content. And if you scroll deep enough, there's some Annie Fry Show stuff in there, too.
It lives?
It lives.
Oh, that's awesome.
Disney content for sure.
I was going to say, remember when we went to Disney World? I was talking to Ethan about that. We might have to revisit the trip.
Oh, I would.
Numbers a little more even when it's 3-on-2. It feels more like even.
Yeah.
3-on-1, it feels slightly in favor of the guys. Very slightly.
Needed Hannah in here. Why don't you hit us with the results of the YouTube poll today?
291 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. At this point, who would you like to see as the next GOP president? J.D. Vance gets an overwhelming majority, 56%. Followed by Marco Rubio at 25%. Someone else gets 13%, and Sarah Sanders at the bottom, 6%.
Someone else outpaces Sarah Sanders. That was a Hogan Gidley name from yesterday. Remember when you used to give the poll results?
I do.
Oh,
yes.
Hannah, look where you are now. Thank you for being with us and for everybody paying attention. AnnieFryShow.com for podcasts, feedback, everything you want is right there. Or on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Mark Reardon, coming up next.
Hey, it's Mark Cox, and between now and the end of summer, chances are you or someone you know is in the market to buy or sell a home. And like me, you probably know a few realtors. In fact, I know several. However, when I needed to sell my home, I made just one call to Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Yes, I'm an actual client. No matter what the market does, Gloria Lou will guarantee up front and in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference.
St. Louis home sellers, if you're looking for certainty and the most money guaranteed for the sale of your home, call me, Gloria Lou. My name is My Promise, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call me directly at 314-325-6888 or visit me online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey, it's Matt, your Leaf Filter Trusted Pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dog